And hello, everybody.
Hi,
everyone.
Happy Saturday. We are Hard Knock Dice. My name is Jonesy, your dungeon master for the evening, and these beautiful people, these beautiful people around me are your heroes for the evening and my best friends. Today, we're going to continue across Eberron, but before we do, thank you, Musical Jinx. That was help from a lot of these guys on those badass new nicknames and stuff. So yeah, new intro is dope. Oh yeah, before we get started, we are raising money for Extra Life. If we can get an exclamation mark charity in the chat, take a look at that. If you don't know what Extra Life is, they raise money for hospitals, children's hospitals specifically, all across North America and Canada. Both of them. Canada's in North America. It's been a day. So anyways, I had some tacos earlier. They were too good. My mind is still on the tacos. I'm gonna be real with you. So yeah, the sus emote is in, actually, and that was my second one. But back to Extra Life, we are specifically raising money for the Children's Hospital of Atlanta. So if you click on that link, thank you for that, Hydra, it will take you to our page. We're trying to raise $5,000 for the year. We have until December of this year to raise that amount of money for them. So go be a hero and donate to a good cause. So also, yeah, we have lots of cool new emotes and stuff. So if you subscribe, you get access to more of them. You have access to a few of them already, even if you're just following. But we have a new one as well, and it's our very own Ganwin right over here with the sus emote. So yeah, use those, spam those in chat. I haven't put a 21 in chat yet. I've yet to figure out how to do that and make it look decent. But
put 2 d20s, 9 plus 10.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's a lot of detail for such a small emo. Anyways. Anybody?
You don't need the 21, just have the 9 plus 10.
Yeah.
That's the same, just 2 d20s, 9 plus 10. And that's it. That's the whole emote.
All right. So, any other announcements? Anything? No? Nothing? Nada?
Nope.
Wonderful.
Next Wednesday, we have a new campaign starting.
That is true. Next Wednesday, we are having, if you're not following our Twitter for whatever reason, our very own, where are you? You're over here. Milo / Cody / Pally Chase Games is going to be running a campaign on Wednesdays for us at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time called Blood and Silver. It's going to be a rebellion themed series that he's going to be running for us. So check that out.
Try and speed run the TPK this time.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
4 sessions or more, and I'm disappointed. So yeah, but we're gonna have a couple of these guys here. We're also gonna have some newcomers to Hard Knock Dice. So make sure you check that out Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. With that, I think that's it. We're good. All right. In that case.
Come on, let me do it. Last we left off!
There it is.
Woo!
Our heroes are in Aether, hunting down the man, the elf, the scoundrel, the murderer, the bastard known as Eberron, Koshik's father, the murderer of Gorham's brother, uncle, niece, nephew. A bastard, just a bastard, covered bastard with bastard filling, as a doctor from Scrubs once said. However, they've chased him here now to Aether, where they have unraveled some sort of plot that he plans on committing an atrocity of some sort to bring back an infamous lich known as Arandis Vol. As they're here to stop this atrocity. Undead have already sieged the city. They have fought back the front lines that they have seen to the city gates, the city walls, and the soldiers are now backed up to the city walls at this point. While they were watching this sort of unfold across the fields and talking about what are their next plans, they have about 4 hours until the midnight hour, where the moon alignment, the blood moon alignment, 12 blood moons in the sky, for Eberron to do this ritual. Not sure on the details of it, but they know that it's going to be taking someplace around midnight when the alignment happens. When they were talking about what is next, they had a train thrown at them. Koshik and Artyom stuck under the train for a little bit, but Abraxia, Eberron's commander of undead, threw a train at them, and after a brief scuffle, seems she may have underestimated them, went back with a mangled leg and some other injuries as well. The party quickly healed up a little bit. They have learned a couple of things since then as well, with a brief flyover from Milo, noting that there was a mob gathering up outside of Nighthold, the place where the king resides when he is in Aetur. And also they have found that there is a secret tunnel under there where they are now evacuating people through. They have also discovered that undead are already within the city walls and seem to be congregating, or at least emanating from the river. We have now the party splitting up into 3 different groups, Crowley and Ganowin going off solo, and the rest of the party sticking together, going into the town to fend off some undead and hopefully save some people. So, with that, Crowley, tell me how you're getting to Nighthold.
Looks like I'm gonna have to fly over.
Okay, you're gonna use the loot and fly over there?
Yep.
Awesome. That will save you some time instead of walking through there, not necessarily knowing, but Nighthold, a very prominent structure in the city. Use the loot. Crowley lifts off and up and away from the group. You do now have a fresh hour at this point on the mental link, just to remind everybody here. So take off using the loot. I don't think we've ever described what it looks like when you fly with the loot, though I've kind of always imagined it. You straddle it like a witchwood on a broom, and I don't think that's quite it. So what does it look like when you fly with the loot, Crowley?
Just in my hands, strum, fly. Very simple magic.
I've always just imagined you like straddling the neck
I
of
was
the
just gonna
loot
say,
as you take
nah.
off on it.
He Harry
Never.
Potters it.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
All right. You strum with a beautiful chord, take off into the eerie red light of the night, going towards Nighthold. As you get a little bit closer, if you could, please roll a perception check for me.
Artyom has a good point. We can just run it like a surfboard. We just start surfing down.
Just put it on the ground and take off with it. Hey
Yeah.
man, it's your.
It just depends how
your
many. Will the DM make me acrobatics check that? Ugh.
Only if you start to try to do stuff with your hands.
Is a kickflip stuff with my so rolled an 18, perception +5, so there you go.
Okay.
23.
23. Very nice. Okay. You fly up to the crowd and just sort of a eagle-eye view over this area. You have several soldiers at this point on the gate itself, both inside and out. Some of them carrying swords, others carrying spears and the like, up and at the ready, keeping back this large mob that is gathered out. You see a couple of people that are unarmed, it seems, but with hands out, trying to scream instructions or directions or please out into the mob. You're not exactly sure. It's kind of getting lost in the just roar that's going on down there with people shouting back and forth. With a 23 as well, not quite here yet, but in the distance on the opposite side, you see 4 or 5 people crouched, and then as they come outside of an alleyway coming towards Nighthold, they're moving slowly, but they are trying to move stealthily. But with a high perception check, you do see them moving sort of on the outskirts, taking different alleyways, making their way in closer to Nighthold. What would you like to do?
I'm going to make note of their position. I'm going to try and land near the front gate. There's barking mosquitoes here. That's scary.
Okay, you're gonna try just to land amongst the chaos?
No, I'm trying to land near the front, let them see me a little bit before I land and say, "What's going on here, Major Yuri?" Flash them the badge I was given, the medallion, etc.
You get
Major just comes in like, what's going on here?
Yes, that is exactly what has happened.
The strong orchestra, like dun dun.
We
go into a D flat.
Playing your own accompaniment as I fly to the Valkyries, the Karnathi fly to the Valkyries as you show up at the gate here. the two people that you see sort of hands up screaming into the crowd right now, the unarmed folks, you see a slender blonde woman, Carnathi woman in official looking clothes, it looks like, maybe of the crown, with Crowley's previous like Carnathi knowledge, as she seems to be the one taking the main hold. And then you have another like sort of shorter but brutish looking Carnathi man, like square jawed, looks like he hasn't shaved in a little bit of time, who's also got his hands up and trying to push people back. And she just looks up at you. It's, what the fuck? Would you?
Hopping down, full military regalia.
Sure. You hop down next to all of them.
Right.
Just sort of the back and forth. Crowley's pretty easily gonna pick this up in just a few seconds. Where you have different Carnathi citizens, and you see some of them are armed. Some of them do have like short swords and shields. Other with like different types of pole arms. Granted, these don't look like soldiers necessarily. As you plop down, and the blonde woman sort of turns to you, the crowd shoves forward just a little bit, and she fucking takes her hands and shoves someone back. Get the fuck back! What? Are you here to help?
What's the situation?
She like grabs a soldier and like pushes him up so he can take his pole arm and like keep people back. People have found out that there is a tunnel underneath the city. They are trying to force themselves through.
Well, can we not let some of them go at a time? I saw some insurgents around the corner coming around. They're moving pretty stealthily. If they disperse into the crowd, it's over.
You see a couple of moments of consideration, but she's shaking her head no the whole time. She's no. These people have weapons. They may not be soldiers, but they can fight. She gets a little bit quiet and steps up to you. I have turned away 15-year-old children. I am not letting people through here that cannot fight.
All right, I understand. And what of the younger ones?
If they are too young to fight, they'll make it through, along with the too old. It's what we've been doing for a while, and it seems someone has seen what we have going on.
Understood. He's gonna look around. You know, what a terrible time to once again bring up that I don't have thaumaturgy. Let's just spread that out. Guys, I don't have thaumaturgy. The crime.
SMH.
Anyway,
Not just you, all bards.
but me in particular, being more important than those other bards. No, but he's gonna look around. Obviously the crowd's full of chaos, and he's like, let me try and get some of them. Perhaps we could split them between the trains, what trains are remaining, and here, if they see that the progress is slow. There were some trains still moving, right? Or was that gone completely when they crashed the first one?
The trains?
Yeah, I remember one train came crashing this way, but some of the rails were still working, right?
Yeah, you guys have already sent away all three of them that were on the northern rails.
Yeah, but some of them are supposed to be coming back and etc., right? Well, that one that was speed demoning around, I don't know about that one.
You could assume that one's probably not coming back, at least not with that denizen. The others, I mean, the next stop is Korth.
The next stop is Korth.
That's hours and hours, like probably half a day's travel at a minimum if they pick up the speed.
Okay, so I'll see them there next week if I make it. Understood. Oh man. What else can we do? Is there any other what other contingent do you have to guard this route?
Sort of holds up her hands at the few soldiers that are this is what remains. And you look around, she's got like 4 on the inside, two on the outside, and she's holding back a mob of about 35 people at this point. I need these people to fight if they can.
All right, well, it's time to look at the crowd. DM, what am I looking at here? Like, how young are most of these people? Like, I know she said there's like 15-year-olds and above, but like the ones holding short swords and everything.
She's said that she's turned away 15-year-olds, but you turn and you look at this crowd, and this just looks like citizenry. Granted, they don't, like I said, they don't look like soldiers, but they are holding weapons that were handed out by the city earlier. So these are people that can fight, but maybe not be willing to. So you have a range of folks that aren't necessarily incapable.
Well, I'm just going to look around. I'm gonna look for one. Probably like, I need someone to focus my attention on before I start. Someone that's like kind of listening in, and I'm gonna point at them, like someone that looks strong, young, cowardly. I'm gonna focus in on that one.
Okay.
And I'm going to immediately raise my voice as loud as I can, and even if I have to like hit that high note so that everyone hears, coward. Try to like make it so that all the crowd listens, like as I point out to that one particular guy.
Okay, give me a performance check.
All right. This guy's got to look strapping, man. He's got another 18 plus 13. So,
You
31.
Shout out, coward. You get people quiet. People like turn and look at that guy and look back at you as if something has happened in the past few seconds, and he looks at you. What did I do?
You're going to leave women, children, and older relatives here to fight, to protect, to help see these children out, and you are going to stand here and try to escape. Have you no shame?
Not really.
Were you raised in Garnathia or were you raised in Sharn? You disgust me. Do you not see half of these children in this crowd that could make it out if you would stop shoving your fat ass up to this gate?
Fat, don't mind that big. Put it.
Shut up! I bet you never even served a day in your life.
They have bone sputters in my food.
I'm gonna look at the crowd like,
Bruh.
look at this guy. Bone spurs. The only bone spurs you have in your foot are from all the chicken you fucking eat every day. You disgust me. You should be at the back of the line, the vanguard, making sure that these women and children make it. Are you all as cowardly as this man? Is this what Garnath has turned to? I'm leveling the look of shame on them. Like,
Give me a persuasion check. They start looking around at each other.
okay, that's a lot lower. 13 plus 13, 26.
It's a lot lower. 26. Gotcha.
Yeah, a lot lower. I'm Do you not see the city that you've made your home for all your lives? Do you not feel sadness at seeing these people take your home? Yet you let old men with pitchforks defend you while you run away like rats. The street urchins themselves are fighting where you are being cowards.
You haven't seen what's in the city.
I have seen. I have spent all day with the Major. I have spent all day sending people on the trains, making sure they make it out of here alive. Yet I am doing so off the backbone of people who are 9 summers old. How old are you? Are you willing to face your ancestors knowing that you shamefully ran away, leaving women and children to die, also that you could save your cowardly ass?
I won't have a chance if I'm dead already.
Dead? You fucking disgust me.
That's fine. I'll discuss you while I'm alive.
No, you'll be coming with me to the front. You are a coward, you are a traitor, and I will remember your face in this life or the next. Even if my corpse has to come and drag you back to hell with me, you are coming with us. You are fighting, you are defending Karnath. And then I wanted to strike my chest. I want to sing the national anthem. I don't know what the it is, but it is being sung right now.
Give me an intimidation check.
Karnath to defeat.
I feel like that's the point to where you start making spooky ghosts appear.
That is a flat 30, sir.
Jesus Christ.
Dorty.
You see, it starts like the crowd distances this guy that you've kind of singled out in this mob, sort of distances themselves from this guy, and he's sort of like looking from left to right at this point, sees that he's kind of alone and standing and doesn't have the full force of the mob mentality behind him anymore. And he sort of falters for a moment.
As this is happening, I want to walk up, draw my blade, and throw it at his feet. Go ahead and start cutting the throats of these people around you, because you're as good as killing them. You fucking coward.
He just wanted out.
You'll get out, as long as you do as we say. If you act as one, there is a chance we can all leave. Would you rather everyone die like rats scurrying for freedom, or would you live like men, like Karnathi?
It's about this point when you're sort of scolding him one-on-one, getting close to him with your blade on the floor on the street right there. When sort of in the back of the crowd, you hear another voice pipe up, and you say, "If you don't fucking move out of my way, I'm gonna shove the whole Warforge up your ass." And you hear another voice in response go, "I don't think either of us would like that journey." As breaking through the crowd, you see Madison and Soul with about 5 or 6 people that are hunched over, and Soul carrying like 2 kids in his arms, just like this, like babies, as they're walking through. Madison is mostly like being the vanguard right here and pushing people out of the way.
I'm gonna wave this way, and like soon as they start breaking, like soon as they're within this guy's line of sight, I'm not looking at them. I'm staring this guy. I'm staring him right in the eyes, like piercing, like looking at him, so he can see like what he's doing.
You're looking at him. He's not maintaining eye contact. He's just sort of like, he looks at them, looks through the gate. Whatever. Sort of just like tries to press back into the crowd.
I'm watching him the whole time.
And
I got the crazy eyes, man. They're going.
Yeah.
Richard out for him.
You see behind, well, you don't see, but Madison and end up like leaning over to Yana, having a quiet exchange of something, and then they open the gate and let them in, leading these people in. Madison and Soul immediately turn around and start to go back out into the city. The rest of the crowd at this point, you have a couple of people looking around like they're not exactly, they've abandoned their post at this point, and they're not sure what to do.
Those of you who can, stand at the vanguard, the rear guard. Those of you who see the younger, push them forward. They will go first. Those of you who see elderly, push them forward. Let them go. And then maybe we can get something fucking done here. Am I understood?
Sort of looking around, most of this seems like citizenry that were given weapons. It seems like Not any of the old or young that were put into taverns and shelters. This looks like a group of people who saw Undead and immediately fled where they were.
Okay, all right.
Yep. So you have about 30 people and that sort of don't know where to go right now, or at least acting like they're indecisive about whether they still want to try to push forward or go back to wherever they were.
You are strong in numbers. If you wish to run, stay here and wait. Wait until we give the signal and then you may flee as you like. But make sure you hold the gate for those who need it. Look at those heroes, not even from your town, saving the elderly and the young. Think of them the next time you wish to run. Think of the old, the infirm. And think how you wish to take the coward's way out. Remember this, and maybe you'll grow something akin to a backbone. And if you do not think you have one, then I will rip one of the undeads out and fucking force it up your ass. And maybe you'll learn what the fuck it's about. Da!
Well, yeah, okay. We just stand here?
Stand here. Let no one pass that you do not recognize. Make sure you hold this for the last of the refugees. Only then, when she gives the order, may you evacuate. As one. You are Karnathi. Let me hear you say it. With pride in your chest.
Do one last persuasion check.
23.
23. You get not all of them, and it's not all in. It's not like a Spartans. What is your profession? But you get. Yeah, I'm Carnetti. Yeah, a couple of them. You get a little stir from.
Let me
from
check
some.
my area code real quick. Oh yes, I'm Carnathi. Oh shit, my bad.
You get a couple of them. Seems like you may have broken something through at the very least. So, at this point, the blonde girl steps up to you and says, "Thank you."
Think nothing of it. How long will you hold this position to? We have those that have tried to sneak in around the back. I told you in the alleyways. We must prepare for them. They're going to try and incite something again, no doubt.
Say Crowley is sort of recognizing that group of shadows. You recognize it as Madison and Soul that were sneaking people through the city.
Oh, it's just Madison. Okay.
Right.
Well, you know what? Maybe I can light a fire and then I lie. It's like, watch out for those coming around the sides. They might try to take us unawares.
We've established some security protocols already for getting inside of the gates. So
Very good. As long as they see you letting people in, that should suffice the crowd for now. But when things look dour, go ahead and start letting them in at the time. They will hold for as much as they can, but do not expect as much from them.
I'll start ordering people around. Thank you for getting them in line. Hopefully some direction will put them in place.
As they see people escape, morale will increase. No doubt. I am Major Yuri, by the way.
She's not of the military, so she offers a handout to you instead of a
Yeah,
salute.
I hold out a hand to you. I recognize she's not military.
And she
Will
just
do.
nods her head. Yana.
We'll do our best to save you some time, Yana. Just do what you can here.
Yes. All right.
Carnathi salute. Now I'm going to start marching away again.
Okay. All right. Your fly lasts an hour. So where are you heading to from
Well,
this point?
I'm going to march out just so the crowd sees me going back into the fray. And once I round that corner, I'm like...
Okay. And you fly off. Just so I have an end destination for you. Where are you going to?
The party was making their way. I, the player, cannot remember where they were heading, but I'm definitely
river.
in that direction. Yeah.
So yeah, the most of the party was heading towards the river area where they saw undead filtering out from, and Ganelin was heading out towards the walls to get updates from Major Boris and Serhij on the other side.
Actually, you know, that just reminds me, we do have the mental link up, and Crowley's going to say, I've organized everything at the hold. They're going to let people through. The villagers are going to hold as long as they can, but They're eventually going to let them through to keep morale up. In small groups, anyway. It's as best as we can do for now. They're no longer rioting.
Wait, what was the problem? Is everyone just trying to get in at once? I thought everyone was allowed to leave.
They are allowed to leave, but they're trying to make sure the young ones that can't. It was the ones that could fight that were running away. Cowards, so to speak. We're using them now as a rear vanguard to make sure the true elderly and the young ones can hold the line. And then they'll be allowed to leave. They're young. They can make it faster than the others. We're just buying time for those that can fight back. It's only a group of 30.
As long as they're sticking around to fight to some extent, I suppose.
If I didn't persuade them to, I certainly shame them to. So that will hold as long as it does.
Okay.
I'll be back to check, but the one they have guarding the gate is Yana. I'm making my way to the river now.
All right.
Right. We roll back in time by just a little bit, and we pan our camera to Ganowin. Ganowin taking off into the night, running through the streets.
I'm going whatever way is fastest, which I believe probably just avoiding the streets entirely will be. I'm using movement speed and shadow step to be able to just avoid, like, just to skip, just to be able to make straight line from point A to point B.
Right. Are you going? I assume you're going this in order, the closest to the furthest from you, which would be
Correct.
Major Boris being the closest.
Yeah.
Okay. Getting into the walls first. So you're at the rails right now, where the walls kind of come up, but able to shadow step and find your way through easily enough, getting into the inner city walls, and shadow stepping your way up onto buildings, like shorter buildings and stuff, and making your way through over there. You eventually see that, and I would say hear more than see at this point. You hear, "Fall back! Fall back!" just being shouted out from various distances across the field on the other side of the walls. As you get closer to where that battle was, I said it's about 2,000 feet from you. So when you get to where where that battle was sort of happening, and you start to see a convergence of people filtering into the gates and stuff. Large doors and iron gates just being held shut and then barred shut from the outsides. It's a bit of chaos at this factor right now. You have wounded that were dragged off the field, still being dragged across the cobblestone and stuff right now. You have just various people being ordered around by sergeants and lieutenants about where to go. Like, get your ass up on the wall. You 5 with arrows there. Meltdown tower now. Like, just giving out different directions. And so it's a bit of chaos on this part of the wall at the moment.
Okay. I'm just flagging down the nearest like sergeant or somebody who's barking orders. Just, where's Major Boris Dvorsik? Dvorsik, where is he? Go on.
Last I saw, he was, and he sort of points his hand down, and he says, "Last I saw, he was near the general store area. He had a small group with him, sending out more informants there, Sarish."
Yep, turning, running that way.
Taking
Just
off.
imagine Gandalf just leaping from a rooftop just right next to this guy. Where's Boris?
where is Boris?
Stabs out of reaction. Yeah, as you run along the wall here, just a little bit shorter, but same sort of scenario. Just a lot of different people getting ordered on top of the wall. You see people like small fires on top of the wall, it seems, but they have big metal pots over these fires, like getting ready to like melt shit down and dump it over. Like,
yeah.
you're not new to war. You know what this is. So they're prepping their line on this wall right now, and different people yelling out. You also see, along with that, though, wounded getting and not an insignificant amount of wounded folks, because this is Karnath we're talking about. To retreat is death. So You have a lot of people that are being dragged into the nearest buildings, or a lot of which are like small shops and stuff, just being dragged into shops and put up on different tables and stuff like that. You run down a little bit and you see Boris on a small, just like front porch of a small business, talking to a few people. Seems like he's giving out orders and stuff. He has this massive halberd in one hand, just sort of talking in Carnathi, giving out a couple of orders.
Okay, yeah, I'll just come jogging up to him. Major, how are things going here on this side of the city?
Like shit. To be completely honest, it's not going well.
Great. For what reasons? Like, what is the problem that is causing them to be pushed back so quickly?
There's too many of them. They kept coming out of the woods. And the giants are also a bit of a problem. Small one. I'm worried about how long doors will hold, so...
That's valid. Shit. Has anybody brought you word that the undead have started to appear in the city?
In the city proper?
Yep. Smaller in numbers at the very least, but it does seem that this is at least relatively continuous. They're moving out from the river in small groups, causing havoc, attacking those who are sheltering within the buildings and such closest to the river.
Oh. Right. Shit, no, I have not heard this yet. This is news. Sort of looks at the crowds he has on the walls. We're in a bit of a tight spot then.
Yep. I take it from the fact that you said things are going so shit. We're spreading out and trying to deal with them, but there's going to be too many. There's too few of us to be able to handle. Even as these are in small groups, they're spreading out. Do you have any kind of squads that you could spare that we could direct to handle these groups of undead?
I can bring a few. You tell me where. I'll bring them personally. I'll let Lieutenant sort of orders someone over. You're in charge of the wall. He's an informant. Designated one now. When the gates fall, they come and get me. They find me. So, shouts out another order. I need.
I plan to make my way over to Serhaj's position after here to see if he has something he could spare from there as well. Holding the walls, of course, is of the utmost priority. Anything we can spare in the undead that are dying is a positive.
Last informant I sent over to Serhaj inside the city. It was going worse than it is here.
I see. Same problems or anything different? Do you know?
They were caught blindsided. Undead did not show up and make themselves known ahead of time. A wind blew, a fog came through, undead were here on their fucking doorsteps. Here. How many undead are we talking about? Let me get at least...
Hundreds, at least. They were spread out along the river. They hadn't quite made it. Trying to remember the kind of what we were looking at, because how far Milo had seen them in.
He went about halfway through the city and saw them emanating out that far. He didn't know if it was going throughout the entirety of the river or not.
Gotcha. At the very least, half the length of the river through the city. In small, like 5 groups of 5 or 6.
Oh. That's shit.
Yeah.
All right.
They're spread out. We're going to be trying to think of a strategy to round them up into one large group so that we may be able to dispose of them that way. If that fails, however, we will have to be hunting them down in these smaller groups. And that is where your men will have to come in.
Lieutenant, I need 40 men on me, now. Sort of goes out, starts yelling out commands to folks, pulling off people from the walls, pulling people from the gate area, just starting to assemble
just a squad,
a small troop of people. Yeah,
perfect.
Boris flicks his halberd in his hand and sort of holds into. Where are we meeting you, or the rest of your group?
Did they determine, were they going to a specific place along the river, or did we determine that everybody was going to a specific spot, or just to the river? We have the mental link. I'm gonna make use of it. Hey, are all of you to the river yet?
I can't answer that question.
Why not, Artyom? Are you there or not?
The
I-
river runs
Artyom
throughout
didn't
the
say
entire
that.
city, so you guys could have very easily made it to the city itself. I'm gonna say at this point, you guys are moving in a group. None of you are fast as Ganowin, and Ganowin got over here in the blink of a few fucking steps. So you guys are moving further into the city proper, but probably not like to the main area yet.
Are they still outside of the? Would you say they're still outside of like the second wall?
Not outside of the second wall. No.
So they're inside the second wall.
Inside of the depends on what you're calling the second wall. Inner city wall and outer city wall. They're definitely within the outer city wall. Probably moving up to the inner city wall at this point.
Moving up to the inner city wall. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna tell. And I forgot. Dang it! I can't remember which side of this is the mountains and which side is the forest from looking at the.
East is the
at the
mountains.
map.
Southwest is the forest.
East is the mountains. Southwest is forest. Okay, perfect. In that case, I'm going to tell them to meet you at the river close to the edge of Merchant's Valley.
Yeah.
That is where they meet you closest to the inner city wall.
Okay.
Closer to the inner city wall.
Should take us less than 5 minutes to assemble 40 people.
All right. Back in the mental link, Boris is gathering a squad of about 40 soldiers. He's going to be bringing them to the edge of the Merchant's Valley, close to the inner city wall.
Hey, that's good. And every little bit to help.
Well, that's where he's going to be. Y'all are going to have to point him in the right direction to take those men to start wiping out these groups of undead.
We figured out exactly where they're at. We know everything there is.
Good to know. You jackass. I know you're not. I'm sure you're still running in the streets.
Nah.
Before I leave here, I do want to get up on top of the walls, and I just want to take a look out at the field and see what we're dealing with.
Give me a perception check with advantage because you're on top of a structure.
Woo! Hell yeah! Wow. It's not great. 17.
17. And are you trying to gather anything specific, or
No, I'm just trying to. I'm getting a quick eyeful of, like, he said there were giants and stuff. And he said that we were outnumbered. I'm just trying to how bad is it, just from a glance.
Yeah, with a 17, it's not good. It's there's a lot of dead on the field, both of recent make and that have been battering the outside. I don't think Ganowin has ever been on the opposing side, but I assume it's fairly reminiscent of having an unstoppable force of Warforged looking at you as the undead are now flipped on you and walking inwards. You still see giants, some ogres still alive, a lot of foot soldiers of undead have grown in number, it seems, than the last count that you guys had. As you look across the field and just in the eerie sort of red light, more walk out of the forest and start coming across the field as a lot of basic shambling undead get up to the wall and start hitting on the gate, and then a frost giant starts to walk up to it. Not very coordinated, but
and I guess first question, I don't know if I can see this is 17. Does it look like they have any kind of like siege engines, ladders, towers, anything like that? I know that it had been looked for before by Artyom, but just see if their only forms of egress into the city is going to be the gates.
yeah, no, I see a 17 would be like good enough to see something that big, and you don't see anything actively on the field. You can't see any like further into the forest or anything if something's like rolling out.
Right.
But something that big you would be able to see, and you don't see that on the side of the city.
Okay, perfect. So they're going to be relying on the giants to bash down the door, or bash down the gate, which I hope are currently being filled with arrows by the men on the wall.
Right. Yeah. No. You see people just like different arrows sinking in, and like at this point, when the undead, so I'm gonna say like when you get up onto the wall, they are getting to the wall, and you start to see them hit on the walls and stuff. These people are taking big like pots of tar or pitch or something and just dumping it over onto these undead, taking out a lot of the like basic undead. Some of them just twitch while on the ground and then slowly stand back up.
Awesome. Okay, well, with that happy thought,
How many did you say were out there?
hella.
Ganwin can't count that high. I'm not gonna give him a number.
Hella. A lot of undead.
I said more than he saw earlier.
They're just gonna fucking swamp the city. So they probably, that cave either goes into a tunnel network, or they have some kind of similar like gate kind of deal like they did in Farlnen, that they're blipping in from one place to another. Okay, well with that, yeah, like I said, with that happy time, I gotta check on what's going on with Sirhish, especially if it's going worse than here. So,
Okay.
Taking off straight as much of a straight line as I can, using Shadow Step to get me across rooftops and stuff.
Gotcha. Easy enough. As I've said before, Aetur is a dense city with buildings. Really quickly, I would like to know, for our main group, our 5 that are moving along the river right now, you now have this information that Boris is going to be meeting you further into the city on the edge of Merchants Valley. Are you guys attempting to sneak at all, or is it just down the river? Are you running, sprinting? What's the deal?
Yeah, we're moving with haste, as I assumed. I mean, shit's going to hell. It's not really sneaky time.
Gotcha.
And honestly, I don't think we'd be too inconspicuous if we tried to sneak anyway.
Yeah, we kind of got a Drake right now.
Yeah, I gotta ask, y'all have snuck along in different scenarios, so I just want to check. So you guys are just sort
That's
of
fair.
going through the city at this point, getting to the inner walls. Takes you a little bit of time, but you end up making your way through.
So going along the river, what do we find? Like along the river, there seem to be like undead under the water that are breaking out, or do we see anything like that?
At this point, you don't see anything. The river, if you're taking a look at it, just a quick cursory glance as you're moving along, river is solid ice across with snow, a little bit of snow on top. At this juncture, there's nothing, there's no undead out here, but you know the city has been moved inwards and towards the inner city walls. Like everybody's been condensed into the inner city walls. You don't see anything at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Koshik, how often can you do the undead sensing thing you do?
I can do it a few times, but let me see.
Well, how long does it last?
When does it last? Does it have a timer on it? I can do it 4 more times.
I cannot hear Rebecca at all.
I said it doesn't have a time frame on it for me on my character sheet. It just I can
should.
I can do it
Eyes
4
of the
times.
Grave. Yeah, it should say. I think it's per long rest.
Yeah, 4 more times. So 5 times total per long rest. So
I
4
think
more
he's
times.
asking like how long it lasts, and I think it's just instantaneous.
Yeah, it doesn't give me a. Okay, yeah.
Okay, shit.
So she could tell when they're within 60 feet of her. So if she casts it right now, anything within 60 feet of her.
Okay, well, if that's only something you can do a few times, you probably want to save it. And we are right now in the Merchants Valley, or are we in the inner city?
That's where you're heading to right now. So you're moving along you're inside. So yes, you are inside the. No. You said you were going to meet them at the edge of the Merchants Valley. So you guys were at the rails. You're sort of moving along the walls right now towards that area where you're going to meet Boris.
Okay. Gotcha. All right.
Which I will say, you guys, since you are just sort of full on like moving through the city, although you don't know the city all that well, you will get there before like the meeting place before Boris and 40 men do. So you guys are sitting here. I'm gonna say you probably have about 10 minutes of time to sit here, and discuss or plan or rest or do something of your choosing. I know time is of the essence right now, so you have 10 minutes. Is there anything you'd like to use it for?
So we're sitting at the inner city wall where the river's at, correct? That's the meeting place?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I like to inspect the river to see if it's made out of solid ice, if it goes all the way through, or for how deep the ice is on the river itself, and I guess how wide the river is.
Yeah, so the river's not insignificant size. I mean, it fluxes and goes and everything, but at its widest point, it's probably about 50 feet across at some points.
50 feet across, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty wide at some points, and then like comes in, and probably at the smallest it gets is maybe like 20 feet in some places.
Okay.
But yeah, how are you checking out the ice? What are you doing?
I'm just gonna try to see if I can use shape water to see if I can like freeze or unfreeze a section and how far the ice goes.
Sure. What level is shape water?
It's a 0 level.
Oh, it's a cantrip?
Yeah, well, maybe I called it the wrong thing.
Maybe I'm just making sure.
But yeah, the cantrip version of doing stuff with water. Yeah, shape water.
Shape water. Let's see what that was.
You can instantly move or otherwise change the flow of water, blah, 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 5 feet. And you freeze water, provided there are no creatures in it. I guess it doesn't specifically say that you can unfreeze water.
Right. I mean, it's a 1 foot cube. I'm not gonna be. If you're talking about unfreezing a 1 foot cube, after casting it, let's see, cube. Cast it a couple of times, so twice. You hit just a square of ice, so it's thick and it goes pretty deep. You cast it again, you do get flowing water underneath.
Okay, so it's 2 foot thick?
About 2 foot thick where you're at currently, yeah.
Okay. Again, though, how deep is the river?
I'm gonna say you've probably been swimming in here before.
Yeah.
So
Would I have any clue actually how deep it is? Though?
Gandaman doesn't know numbers, RT.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how deep it is. It's fucking deep. It's this river.
They're like, pretty deep.
It's pretty fucking deep. Like, deep enough you can drown in it.
This is true.
So at least an inch deep.
Well, I guess the way that it goes into the wall to the city, does it seem like the walls are set up so that like ships can go inside the city?
Not big ships, no, but boats can sail through here, correct.
Boats can sail through, okay.
Yes.
Shit. We need to know how deep this is. And at the wall, how wide is it? You said it was about 50 feet wide?
At the inner city wall, yeah, about 50 feet. 50 feet wide. This kind of seems where it's at its widest before it goes through the city itself.
Shit. And is there any way I can tell? I mean, the walls themselves, how do they cover the entrance to the river?
Big gates.
All right. And they go under the water as well, or just over top?
From what you can tell, looks like just on top. Probably because this is Karnath and winter lasts for 8 months. So frozen water don't make good for shutting gates.
Right. Shit. Well, if they're going through the river, they get plenty of places they can just go under these gates. Well,
Azur, roll a flat wisdom check for me.
Ooh, well, I rolled a 19.
19.
Let's go, Azir.
I gave you a fairly
Justice for my boy.
small detail about a perception check that you made when you and Artyom went out onto the river to check out the tracks. And that you saw several holes that seemed like maybe they were for ice fishing. right next to the forest where the undead are currently coming out of.
So I can probably deduce that.
When RTM says this, you start kind of connecting dots.
Oh, shit. Yes. RTM, they probably are coming to the river. The holes that we thought were for ice fishing. Was probably where they were coming in from. Shit.
All right. Well, it's not good. It's really not good. Okay, well, Gandalf, they're all coming through the river. They're just going through the ice and coming up out of the ice, so that's done. So we need to figure out the way, I suppose, to try and block up the river, at least at the inner wall, and try to get everyone into the second wall as much as we
freeze
can.
it all the way down, or most of the way down.
That's why I was asking how deep it is.
I do my best to communicate a shrug through the emoji pops into your mind. Yeah, I don't fucking know, man. I have no idea.
RTM's connection is a little fuzzy in the mental link.
I guess so.
Right. Turn your head from one side to the other, see if that fixes it. Yeah, you gotta focus, put your hands on your forehead.
Shit. I could try to make a wall of ice underneath it, but I'm gonna have to get in the water to do that, and if I go into the water without shape-shifting, I'm going to die. So, I can do it, but it's going to cost some resources.
Milo, do you have any idea a way to like block? Could you make like a net of some kind that they couldn't be able to get past? And we could drop into the river.
Potentially, but nets are notoriously time-consuming to create.
Good point.
Potentially, a idea I have could not keep them from out of the water, but at least give us a control over where they're going. I'll be discussing that with Toshik here shortly. It will require her abilities.
Okay. DM, this river is frozen over for most of the year. HR doesn't have any kind of like fishing vessels that go to. Does HR have any kind of like fishing boats that go along the river at all?
Yeah, I mean, I would say not like. When I think fishing vessels, I think of things that go out to sea, but definitely folks that like use the river.
I'm trying to think things that might already have larger nets that they use to fish. Is what I'm looking for.
How much time did Ganwin spend on boats?
I figure at the very least I would have at least seen if there were fishing boats at all.
I mean, yeah, smaller fishing vessels, but not things that are like going out to sea to catch fish and bring them back. So you're not finding like fishing rigs or anything like that, but folks that just go out to fish on the river, sure, yeah. Gotcha. So maybe not something that would go across the entirety of the river, right? Because you're talking about 50 foot across, and I mean, if we're talking about you swimming in the river at some point, maybe your swim speed being 15 feet, probably 12 seconds of swimming down or so. Sometimes,
depending on the day.
Well, depending on the location in the river where you are.
So pretty deep.
Yes,
that
to
is,
allow
holy
vessels.
shit, 12 seconds, that's 2 rounds. So 30-ish feet deep.
Yeah, at the most you would assume.
Right, at the most. Okay. So I mean, yeah, I communicate my swim time to the bottom as best I can. Like it takes like maybe 12 seconds to get down from the top to the bottom in some places. I have no idea on the exact distance.
And Milo, you said there were hundreds in the city?
Yeah, I believe that's what the DM said, right?
That's your best guess.
Ish. Yeah.
The thing is, he rolled a 13 on his perception check there, so he's doing his best with his 60-foot dark vision.
Big
know,
guesstimate.
flying 100 feet over the
Cursory
city.
glance.
Yeah.
Hurtling through the sky at 120 feet per 6 seconds.
What is Milo currently doing?
Well, when it got around to the rest of our group, Milo is going to be having a conversation with Kaushik. So that is probably what he is doing right now.
Milo, can you send your... I'm sorry, let me interrupt your conversation. Can you send your drone thing to see where all the undead are in the city and maybe how many there are?
Okay, well, let's pause that. Rewind time by just a little bit and start off with Milo and Kaushik's conversation.
As all that's going on, Milo had been kind of sitting there just kind of staring off into space after he relayed his information, hand kind of pressed to his head. And then...
Kaushik. How much energy you got left?
I'm depending on what you need me to do, I probably need a rest.
You think if you had a little bit of a breather, that thing where you push the undead away, you think you could do that some more?
Yeah, I just need a little time. Probably about 30 minutes.
In theory, if I could take what you do, and there's no guarantees, but if I could find a way to invert that, to draw them to a particular point, so that we would have them not scattered through the city, it would control the situation a little. Do you think it's worth trying?
I don't know how you do that, but I'd sweat the
Leave the
shot.
part to me, but do you think it's a good idea?
Yeah.
All right.
Can
I may...
Brittany and Cody step out of character for a moment? Let's have a mechanical discussion real quick.
Yeah, because what the fuck?
So, I want to say this. Milo traditionally, in all of his doings, doesn't actually have access to magic, right? Like, canonically, it is different arcane glyphs, wards, technology, crystals, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Only incredibly recently through the pact he made has he done anything even remotely magical himself.
Exactly. And I would say even that is still strange to Milo, not exactly sure of this source. I want to say here that Kaushik's magic is something wholly different than what Milo does. I do think that there is a severe difference between arcane and divine magic, which your magic is based on equation, it is based on technology, it is based on precision, where her magic is based on faith and belief that there is something divine running through her veins. And I think they are incredibly removed from each other. I think
100%.
I think here that it would be not technology, but if you wanted to help Kaushik do this, it would be about helping her frame a mindset or talking her through it. But this is going to be a matter of it being her faith and manipulating her own magic, if that makes sense. That makes sense to me. I thought about your request from last week, and I've been thinking about it a lot. And I think that your two types of magic just sort of don't go together. It's oil and water. So to be able to create some technological thing and apply it to divine magic doesn't really calculate for me. So
go ahead.
No, go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say, to my understanding, and this is varies setting by setting, so it's entirely gonna be contingent upon you. Is magic arcane and magic divine, they're both energy, it's just how it's directed. Arcane is directed through equations and formulae and all that kind of thing, and then divine magic being guided by faith. And Milo knows that. Whatever Kaushik does is incredibly alien to him and going to be very contingent upon her. He just wants to kind of create a device that will create a negative image of whatever she's doing.
Right, and I don't think that exists, right? Because you're trying to find...
No, this is entirely fucking spitballed and
well, yeah, that's
improvised.
what I'm trying to say. Like, you're trying to make a screwdriver that fits a nail. It doesn't necessarily go together. I think you're gonna have to go somewhere else other than what Milo currently knows, or speak to Kaushik about sort of her beliefs on how, because her magic is based on belief and faith that it is going to work and that she can do these things, versus like an equation to make sure that it works. I don't think those two things are going to go together. You guys are going to have to find a different way around this problem.
Well, then that will be what I guess Milo will spend her short rest doing, is trying to figure out how to make that happen, or to help her with that, or whatever it is.
I just wanted you guys to sort of hear where I'm coming from before you like continue on this conversation, but please do continue on the conversation.
Gotcha. In that case, yeah.
I'm not sure that it's anything that I can direct myself, but perhaps I can give guidance or assistance in helping you to find a way to adjust the way you manage your energies that could be beneficial to us. Maybe. I don't know if it'll work, but I don't have any other ideas.
I'm more than willing to try if it's the best chance we've got. We have to save these people.
While you gather yourself, please allow me to ask you some questions and talk me through your process, I guess.
And Milo knows all the questions. I'm not going to try and figure out what the fuck he's going to be asking, because I don't know all that stuff.
And Kaushik knows all the answers, but Brittany doesn't, so montage of the conversation being had.
We're gonna put a pin in it for now then, as RTM interrupts your conversation here, asking about your drone.
Oh, yeah, I can have it do that. You just want it to get information on numbers and location? Because once it gets far enough away, I won't be able to give it any follow-up.
Right, to see how deep it goes into the city. I mean, if there are more coming from the river constantly, or I can't see anything inside this water, so I mean, I don't know. It's I need to understand if blocking this is going to help anything.
That's
or
fine.
if the deed's already done.
I don't think it can help me with what we're doing now anyway. This is...
Or can it swim? Can you put it in the water?
Time freezes while Milo checks his D&D Beyond notes. It technically doesn't breathe, but it doesn't have a swim speed.
I don't necessarily think that would be the best idea if it can be avoided.
Well, send it across the river and look for holes and see if undead are coming out the holes.
Right.
Milo will direct it to go and try and get more information on the river and how the undead are coming out of it. Try and get some numbers information.
You can tell your drone to go do that for you. Okay. Instructing your drone to take off your shoulder and go down the river looking for this. I'd like you to roll me some percentile dice there, Milo.
Yeah, my favorite. I'm actually gonna break out the nice dice for that one second.
Can I try to like peer into the water just in case I might see anything? Dark vision's still up.
Sure, give me a second.
48.
I fucking 18, hell yeah.
48.
Plus things.
With a 48. Man, I haven't dealt with a wild magic surge in a while now, so thank you and cemetery chick, but this is also difficult. As your drone takes off from your shoulder, Milo, a bit of the magic from your boosters, the sort of unstable lavender magic, travels up with your drone, and as it takes off, its boosters in turn flying down, sort of scattering around in your face for a moment as a sort of dust clears, your skin gives off this slight lavender glow. And for the next hour, people trying to perceive you have advantage on perception checks.
Just kind of looks at the drone,
Nice.
looks back at Kaushik, looks back at the drone.
Must have been damage from the big hits from the Death Giant.
You should have to do that to bad guys.
Yeah.
Just kind of tries to ignore the lavender nature of it.
Yeah, that's normal. Okay, anyway, Kaushik.
Right.
I'm gonna stick my staff about 2 feet into the water so that the flame is still on, since it is an actual fire. And 27 on that perception check.
27 on the perception check. Yeah, you take a look around. At this moment, you do not see anything moving up or down the river. And in your sort of perception check, like, you see a couple of like dormant fish, like near the bottom, stuff like that. But you don't see. What was your perception check again?
27.
27. I will
18
say with
plus
such a high score, actually, you sticking your flame up under here sort of illuminates the ice and gives it sort of this eerie glow underneath the ice. You do see what looks like scratch marks on the bottom of the ice.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, they're definitely going up through here, but it doesn't seem like any more are coming in right now. All right. Well, how do we get on the other side of these gates?
And with that, we're gonna pan back over to Gandalf real quick. I will say, actually, that took about 10 minutes there of you guys just sitting there. Crowley, at this point, you're probably coming up on, like, over your party where they're sort of getting ready to rendezvous. But as you guys see Crowley flying in, that's where we will pan back over to Gandalf.
Okay.
Just because you make it across the city so fast.
Speed the boy.
As you do, you're sort of getting in the, let me double check real quick. On the other side of the Yeva Bazaar, you see various, just people, I'm sorry, you see folks sort of lining into the city. Ian Rourke has raised their hand.
Like, apparently I was clicking back on this guy.
But you do see, soldiers, veterans that you saw making their way into the city, and they look like they've had the shit kicked out of them. People bringing the gates shut and closing them on this city as well, on this side of the city as well. And it, as much as the other side did not go well, it was lively. People were shouting, people were ordering, like, it was chaos, but there was life to it. This seems like there was defeat on this side, and you have people that aren't moving very fast. Like, it's veterans, and you can tell they're like doing their best, but there were less people on this side of the city. So their numbers are lower than even they were, and they're just still trying to get people. Even the injured are like shoving off medical help that they probably need. It'll be fine. And you see a guy just with a gash across from his shoulder to his chest to start climbing with the other hand up a ladder and start trying to get like heavy rocks set up on top of the wall to tumble down on whatever may come.
Okay. So I'm gonna once again try to flag down somebody who looks more whole and appears to be direct, because I know these are all veterans and these guys aren't necessarily like actual, like nobody actually has rank. I'm gonna see somebody who's whole and seems to be kind of directing injured and those that are still up, and just has he made it back in, or did he make it back in?
For the most part. Yeah, follow me.
Alright. Follow the man.
Take you into a small like tent area on the outside of the bazaar. Looks like it was probably serving some sort of produce, but it's all been cleared out in the center. Different like cots, not like stand-up cots, but just like place is cleared on the ground with a rug thrown cot. And you see Surhij sort of leaned up, his like half of a wagon wheel propped up beside him, sort of heavy breathing, propped up against one of the tent poles.
Take it he doesn't look great.
Doesn't look awesome, no. He looks
Gotcha.
hurt.
Does it look like just like accumulated a lot of wounds, or like one big one? Like was it look like his?
Do you walk up, give me a perception check.
Sure. 19. I will not roll in the double digits tonight.
I mean, he looks like he took a particularly nasty cut just right across his abdomen. But he's pretty covered in just looks like different wounds all around. He's worse for wear right now.
Well, shit.
Angry boy.
Yeah. I had heard that you guys were the worst for wear. It is worse than I had feared.
Yes, not great. Not great at all.
Are there giants on this side as well?
Yeah. Couple. Lot of very fast ones as well.
Very fast giants, or just very fast?
Very fast undead. Move like undead I have not seen.
Okay. They are out on the field right now. Are they anything distinct about them by any chance? Shit. Hold on. Like, just and you just focus. I know you're in a lot of pain right now. I need you to focus and see if it seems familiar. I'm gonna use minor illusion to basically replay, like in miniature, basically some of the zombies that we had seen in Scairn, like this.
Like that.
Fuck.
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's bad. Those guys are bad news. Very bad news. Damn, is it dim here where he's at?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, alright. Bad as it is, kind of jerk my head back towards like where all the rest of the veterans are. These guys need you in as good a shape as you can get. So, hold on. I'm just gonna kind of kneel next to him. I'm gonna start dumping key points into him. Just gonna kind of hold my left hand just kind of over that the worst wound, and just those tiny little amber lights. I'm gonna start trying to heal him up a little bit.
He sees you, sort of amber lights as it glows. Takes one massive fucking hand, covers both of your hands, looks at you and just says,
You'll need your resources. I'll be fine.
pushes your hands back to you.
Not a negotiation. Stop.
If you fall, this wall falls.
I will be fine. These men have fought before me. They will fight after me. Save your resources.
Very well. About how many of these fast ones do you think there are on the field?
They were not the majority. But just enough to make it fucking difficult.
How much easier do you think it would be to hold if you didn't have any, if they weren't out there anymore? No more of the fast ones.
What kind of question is this? Much easier.
Much easier. Yes, I need. Will it significantly increase the time you can hold?
It's possible. Look at maybe 10% of total forces, but they were probably most of their damage. They just tore their way through the battlefield. Several fell.
Any skilled marksmen amongst your men?
A few.
Okay. You know where I can find them?
Up on the wall.
All right. You really need to make sure that's closed up and probably eat something to replace all that blood that's going out.
Working on it. Smart ass.
Yeah. Also, whole reason I came here originally, there appeared to be some of the undead that have made it within the walls. Seems like they're coming through the river.
Just a look of sudden just fuck, we failed, like on his face. Like as much as like the bovine features can droop, they do in this moment, even though he's like already had the shit kicked out of him. Hope starts to drain.
I'm just gonna hold out a hand. Not in very large numbers, small groups. They appear to be trying to, sow discord and cause chaos here within the backlines. The rest of my group are currently trying to deal with that. Boris is sending a detachment from his side that we're going to direct to be able to clear them out as quickly as possible.
Then and he puts his fucking arms on the ground, stands up. Yeah. Tend to my wounds, like brings a medic over towards him, starts like wrapping his torso up. Then we need to do the same.
Holding this wall is more important. If it is going to be a risk at all, at the most you need to make sure that things aren't going to come up from behind and flank you while you're trying to hold this wall. Keeping those out there is much more important.
At this point we're surrounded. They're already in the city. The gates will hold for them. Sort of takes a moment to consider. Long enough. We need to get rid of the threat in the city.
Round up what you can spare then. I'm going to take a look at the top.
Bends over after the guy finishes wrapping up. It's like using some like poultice or something like on the wound itself, closing it up. And it looks like a very basic level healer walks up and taps him with like level 1 cure wounds. It's like very fresh blood of old priests going around and doing what they can, and after like 2 spells they're done. You see Sir Hish lean over, grunt in pain as he picks up his fucking wagon wheel, serrated blade around the edge of it, and just sort of stands up as you walk out. Where are you going?
I'm going up on top of the wall. I want to see if I can see where these fast guys are at.
Sure. Give me a perception check.
There we go. 28.
28. These guys have rolled it very well until now. You're looking out. 28. Similar scene to the other side. Undead, sort of up against the wall. Less giants on this side that you see, but you do see about 2 or 3 of them scattered amongst their groups. And sort of darting in between undead, almost just very like bestial and animalistic through their undead ranks, just moving, like calculating, looking for anything that's moving. You see just like Karnathi soldier reaches one arm up, and you see one of these undead dart through with just inhuman speed, that same speed that you remember back in Scairn, go over, just clamp down, and the hand goes down once more.
Okay.
They're out there. They're staying stealthy amongst their own members.
I like I said, with that 20, I'm looking for them and trying to spot where they are and see if I can keep track even if it's only at one at a time. And while I'm doing that, I just want to closest soldier that's up here. I need you to locate and gather the most competent sharpshooters that are on this wall right here.
Yeah, okay.
Go.
Well, you're looking at them.
Just you? You're the only one who can shoot worth a shit?
Sort of looks over at a couple of other archers that are on the wall, just like doing this. We're all okay. They all have bows like at the ready. Like I said, these are veterans.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, what we're gonna do? I'm gonna try to grab about with that 28. Can I get a rough estimation of how many of the fast that I saw kind of zipping through?
Yeah, sure. With a quick, like the glance that you got in the sort of the area that you have to see in front of you, and your dark vision 60 feet.
60 feet.
60 feet, sort of in that little square. Also, you see just sort of darting back and forth. You think about 5 individual in this area currently.
Okay. All right. We're gonna eliminate some of the biggest threats while we're here. Okay. Okay. Unsling the blood bow. Like, go ahead, half draw. Be ready to shoot as soon as ordered. And I'm gonna wait till I see one of them. I'm gonna try to direct them towards looking at all of us looking at one of them.
Okay.
And I'm gonna hold and try to have them all fire as soon as it stops to clamp down on a survivor or somebody that they're trying to finish off.
Sure. Let's make it a skill challenge. I'm gonna put this on you because you're trying to direct soldiers right now, and you're trying to get them to see. So I'm gonna say where they're going. So we're gonna do a teaching check at first, which we've done wisdom and charisma. So go ahead and give me that roll. And
so
since it's your bow, I'm gonna say with proficiency as well. You're gonna need 3 successes here. This is your first.
Okay, so this is the wisdom check.
Wisdom plus charisma.
Wisdom plus charisma, and I get proficiency to it.
Correct.
4. Okay. Plus 8. Not great. 15.
15. Yeah.
Woo! Threw my dice. Maybe it'll behave a little better now. You just want me to go ahead and roll out the other 2?
No. Because they're gonna be different rolls.
Gotcha.
They follow, some wavering behind, so you're not going to get the full force of the next arrows. We're going to call the next one let's do a perception check, identifying that one. Go ahead and roll.
Gotcha. 22.
Success. So you point that one out, draw back the bow. Everyone else drawing back the bow with you, sort of following your line of sight and drawing on the area that you are. 4 more doing better on their rolls. You see them all sort of at least in the same direction as you are, sort of aiming in that area. Last one's an attack roll. Go for it.
You got it, boss. All right. Ooh, that's good. I just gotta double check my attack. 25.
25. Following your bow, just the thrum of arrows flying through the air. Go ahead and roll damage for me.
Sure.
Please.
Don't fuck me, you little shit.
Since I'll see how this guy was doing to begin with.
Dear God, where'd it go? Ah!
That's what Gandalf says to his bow every time he fires some of his blood out.
13 piercing damage,
13.
magical.
Other bows striking it, the blood arrow seeming to go a little bit further into the flesh that you can see, but other arrows striking it down. You see, shriek doesn't put it quite down, but you do see it start like hobbling away. It's not moving quite as fast away.
And I'm gonna sit here and do that for a while.
How long?
I'm just gonna.
I will say, after 10 minutes, Sirhij has about 20 people in various different conditions ready to go, and he's sort of just waiting on you.
I'd say I'm gonna go for those full 10 minutes of trying to direct these guys, like this small, like this smaller group of archers, and trying to put down some of these fast ones, or at least wound them bad enough that they won't be as much of a threat. And then I'll have hold for now, and I'm gonna step down to Sirhij.
They're gonna keep shooting. They're taking the arrows that they have and like following the lead that you've given them, pointing off those, and they're sort of like identifying those fast sort of darts back and forth, trying to keep up with those. Their perception not as good as yours. We don't know how successful they'll be, but they know what to look for at least in this instance.
Okay. Did you get down there to him? Like, all right. I believe my friends are meeting. They're meeting Boris near the edge of Merchant's Alley, going into the inner city. Might as well go near the opposite, going along the river, the edge of Severodro. And I'll tell them that's where you'll be.
Gives you a nod. We will. We'll try to meet them in the middle of the city then.
All right.
Towards Nighthold.
What are you saying?
Towards Nighthold.
Yeah. Hey, if you happen to see anybody who's abandoning their post, see if you can snag them. Apparently, that's becoming a problem.
With pleasure. They pick up. Sir is giving out, not really orders, it doesn't seem. This seems, it's almost conversational. Hey, Tony, follow me. Let's go. Start walking off the gate and through the city. Are you staying with them or are you going ahead? You can definitely move quicker than these guys.
Right. Huh. I'm gonna stay on this. I'm gonna stay on the wall for now.
You stay on the wall.
Yep. I'm gonna go back to doing what I was doing.
Okay. Keeping your post here. Those guys disappear out of vision. We're gonna then move back to the rest of the party. Crowley landing down. Boris and a troop of about 40 men behind him. It's good to see you all again.
Major.
Major?
We've got the rioting citizens named Nighthold under control. They'll provide some support for as long as they can anyway.
Gulag if they leave.
Hear that, brother?
Right.
Comrade.
Comrade. Alright then.
Tovarish.
Oh, I went Dwarvish there.
The illusion cracks. The facade is shaking.
You'll lead the way now.
How are we gonna get over this? How are we going to get over this gate?
Go open the gate. And he talks to a soldier who goes on the other side and starts like cranking back the gate.
It's just a crack. We can walk on the ace. It'll be fine.
Makes their way through easily enough. Closes the gate back behind. Hops down on the wall.
DM, quick question.
Yeah.
I think we've already asked it before. What way is the river flowing, and how much current is there under the ice?
It's not like white. It's a slow flow, but it flows from the mountains down, so from the east to the southwest, or
From the east.
up east to the direction it's going. But it's flowing from east to west.
Okay, from east to. Oh no. Okay,
West.
from okay.
Yeah. So from the side
From
of the
the
city that
mountains.
I am on right now, towards you.
But
guys.
it's not enough to where if there were undead in the water that it would potentially carry them towards us.
Like I said, it is a relatively slow current under the ice.
All right.
You think that would be the case as the scratch marks were leading further into the city, like that is what you saw, and they were going from the ones you have seen were going from west to east.
All right. So let's go hunt some undead. Is move fast, move quick. Yell if you see something.
All right, guys. With that, let's go ahead and take a little bit of a break.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and go to break, and then we'll get started on this because this may take a little bit, and I don't want to go over super long. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Gonna take a quick bio, and we're gonna hunt some undead. See you soon. And hello, everybody. Welcome back. Sorry, we ran a little bit over, but that's fine. We're having a good time. Hopefully, so are you. We're going to jump right back into it. Most of the group is now together in the city of Aetur, right where we left off. In case you're just now joining us, undead are in the city. The team has deduced that undead have gone under the frozen river and have fought. Good Lord, potato chip bag. Undead have infiltrated the city Undead at the walls on either side now have fought back the forces into the inner city walls. A quick little investigation from the team have found, and some remembering of some details from a couple of sessions back where Azur saw some holes in the river, what they thought were from ice fishing right beside the forest, are now figured out that undead are using the river, under the frozen river, as a way into the city proper. So the entire group is now together. Crowley just now flying in. Major Boris Yavorsik stepping up with 40 men or 40 fighting folk in tow. Soldiers ready to go. Boris with his massive halberd in one hand, seeing the group of you waiting on them. Gainwin on the other side of the city, trying to take out these quick zombies that he had found. And trying to point the arrows, trying to make it go a little bit better on this side, as he had seen that the veterans had it a little bit worse off, fewer in number and just the types of enemies they were going against. So the rest of you walking into the city, getting closer to the innards of the city, you start to hear screams of terror and panic, people running, basic undead sort of shuffling through the city. I almost unplugged my headset. I need a wireless headset so I can emote more. I need the hand room at the very least. Basic undead just sort of shuffling through the city, but terrified folk running from them. As they do, you have a few soldiers that are able to branch off, and the undead that are traveling maybe not in packs, one sort of straying off too far, the undead quickly dispatching of them. Can I get a round of perception checks from everyone as you get into the city? And I want to see what you identify as you walk in. Just write them off whenever you got them. You're muted, Artyom.
Natural 20, 29.
Very nice.
Well, I was happy with mine until that. 22.
Yeah.
22 still very good. 23, very good.
12 plus 5, 17.
17, very good.
18.
18, very good.
4.
I'm Brad.
Okay. I'm trying to...
Take off your headset 4.
I need you to log off for me.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, Gorham relying on the eyes of your friends here, hammer in tow. Artyom, you sort of look across. You know the river is where the source, where they're coming from. You see one zombie lifting up out of what looks like a cut hole under one of the bridges that cross the river, picks itself up, sort of like slides on the glass a little bit. Seems like a basic undead, not anything too worrisome. Your eye is drawn away from that, though, seeing that come out of the river. You hear light, quiet, almost imperceptible footsteps off an alleyway over to your right. And then you have a woman that's sort of walking through the alleyway, trying to keep quiet. Sees the lot of you, says, "Oh, thank the gods, I need your..." Full on tackled by something moving at incredible speeds and into another alleyway out of sight. You hear the briefest scream get cut off, just ah! And then nothing. Let's roll some initiative real quick. And I would just going into this, let's make this a skill challenge for the group. That's what I want to do. I want to make it a skill challenge for the group. So, just so we can kind of keep it organized with those initiatives, 25 plus to 20. Nobody? Very well. All right.
Nice.
Oh shit.
If it makes you feel better, I can say 20.
No.
Hell
Hell yeah. Good job.
Ooh, shit.
He's rolling initiative for all 40 of the soldiers.
No. I rolled together.
It's all
All
40
right.
of the zombies.
20 to 15 then?
19.
18.
19, 18. Is your dex 20, Azure?
Oh, I don't like that.
Yes.
It is? Okay. Gorham, yours was 18?
Yes, sir.
Very nice. All right. 15 to 10. 10 to 5.
13.
5.
7.
9.
Milo, Koshik, RTM. Crowley? No,
7.
Crowley, RTM. And then Boris.
I rolled the big 2.
He rolled a natural 1.
Oof.
Oh. Oof.
I also rolled a 1, so there's that.
Nice. Koshik, what'd you have again?
9.
Milo, what'd you have?
13.
All right, wonderful. All right, let's get some a little bit jammier music going on real quick. All right, so Azure, you see this happen. Your eyes, with your perception check, checking the city. Chaos is kind of breaking out here. Undead breaking into city. Some stumbling in groups of 10 to 15, some breaking into windows and stuff, and you just hear screams within. You see various small fires getting lit in buildings from people like either dropping lanterns or colliding into them. But things are going poorly on this side of the river right now as you hear screams from different sides. So you have groups shambling undead. You hear scrambling feet in the alleyways, undead that have seemingly kept out of sight and that are moving quick and fast. I think this would be no surprise to Azure, or at least remind you of what you saw back in Scairn. The first real fight that I think you had with this group, where you saw everybody and the entire city of Scairn got forced out. You give me what you want to do. This is going to be this isn't like combat. This is going to be very open. I want you to tell me sort of what you're going, like where you're going and how you're going to help these people, and then what skill you're going to use for that. Your DC is going to sort of depend on that skill and how relevant it is. And as we go through these, I'm going to be keeping tracks of your successes and your failures as we go through. As a group, when we hit a good threshold for successes before failures, I think with a group of 7, for an impossible mission, which I think we did in Zoriat, I don't think this is quite that caliber, but fairly close. We're going to allow 4 failures. So, with that, Azure, undead, breaking out over the city, groups of them moving along. You see different shambling undead like grab hold of people from inside and start trying to rip them out. What are you doing?
I think being a strange city, Azure is going to rely on his survival instincts and do the best he can to protect those that are in most imminent danger.
Okay. Talk me through the process of how you're using survival to do that. What does that look like? What is Azure doing?
Looking around, putting zombies that are breaking into buildings on his first priority list, or the fast ones if he sees them.
Okay. Sort of track the fast footsteps going around and see if you can save a group of people from this. Go ahead and roll me that survival check for me.
Okay. Where's my calculator? Math is not strong suit. 23.
23. Very nice. you kind of go around tracking some of these footsteps and whatnot, rounding the corner where you saw this the faster zombie going. You're trying to find a group that is in like the most imminent danger. It's hard to find here because there are several people, but sort of calming yourself and just sort of very calmly and collectively looking around the building, you see one that's being lit on fire from the inside from various lanterns that have fallen over, and also that undead are starting to like tear their way in, and people that are trying to escape through doors and windows are starting to be held back into the building and pulled back. So you think that looking at this is like a 3-story building. It looks like maybe some type of boarding house, and you hear, it's just the number of screams that you're hearing. You navigate your way into that building. It's going to be your turn for this one, okay, as you get inside of here, and then we'll come back to that next round. Sound good? You're very...
Yeah, Skype just quit on me for a
okay,
second.
all right. The way you're looking at me right now is like he's not very happy with what I just said.
I missed a good chunk of what you said.
Okay, what's the last thing you heard?
Goodness gracious, as you round the corner, tracking these footsteps.
Oh no. Okay, that's a big rip. All right, anyways, no worries. I said you found like a 3-story boarding house that you see that's getting lit on fire, and you hear a bunch of screams from the inside. You see like people trying to escape through doors or windows, and then undead grabbing them and pulling them back inside. You're still frozen on my screen. That's so unfortunate.
Someone's gonna have to. He's gonna have to leave, and someone's gonna have to kick him out of the call for him to come back and have his camera work.
I gotcha.
Oh, really?
Let me try to. I'm gonna remove you from the call. Just join back after this.
Heard.
Okay, got him.
Now that guy's gone.
Azure, no
Yeah.
more. All right. He's loading back in now as we speak. However, ending Azure's turn there, as you make it to the building, and inside the building, Azure, you see various undead grabbing people. That's where we're going to end your turn and pick it back up at the top of the initiative. This is going to bring us to the undead's turn. Progression happens through the city. That one you saw escaping from the river, Artyom pulling himself up. You see 2 or 3 more right behind him pulling themselves up out of the river. And as they do, spreading out. Doesn't seem to be directed at any certain thing other than sounds and life and chaos, which has been brought on already. So as soon as they hear screams, the same things that attracted Azure to an area is attracting him. So fire, lights, screaming, all of that is attracting these things to it. So where it is going worse, it is getting, or where it's going badly, it is getting even worse as more chaos attracts them to it. I'll say, let's see. You know what? I'm going to put them into the skill challenge, actually, and see what kind of successes I can roll for them. I'm going to roll 2 different ones for 2 different types of undead. Okay. Various shambling and just sort of movement right now. That is going to bring us to Gorham. Gorham, not seeing the river at the moment, sort of our team was paying attention to that. Definitely hearing the screams though, and you see Azure sprinting off. What are you doing? And you definitely saw the woman that was coming out of the alleyway and just got caught by this one.
Do I see anybody else being attacked in the streets?
Yeah, I'll say you see like a group of people that were trying to like sneak away and trying to run away, and you see them just start to get mobbed as they're like surrounded on all sides.
All right, so Gorham will probably spring into action and try to like assist them. I would like to use athletics to try to like push zombies down, push them to the side, pull these people back, get them moving towards where we are, and just kind of separate them into zombies.
Okay, yeah,
Undead.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll for me.
You got it, boss.
Yeah, I mean, zombies, skeletons, all these things are in various different forms of decay. It looks like it was just an eclectic bunch that's been collected over time. What's that athletics roll?
That is a 25.
25. Very nice. forcing your way through. You just using the hammer, scooping just 3 or 4 undead away out of the time, scooping their legs out of the way. You get a group of people, looks like some sort of matriarch, or like mother, like grandmotherly figure almost, just standing, and she's sort of a big lady in a nightgown. Puts her hands out and in front of you, like looks like she's ready to fucking box you, still in a bonnet. Says, not undead, this is good. Where do we go?
That way. I'll point towards the rest of the Shining Vanguard and the soldiers. Get moving, quick!
She turns
only
around,
hold them off for so long.
Gets her ducklings in a row, the like small little ones that are following her, looks like young kids almost, maybe like a nursery. Like gets them together, keeping them close and like surrounding them. They like trying to look big, like a school of fish. And sort of she looks at you and says, "You clear the way." And she's like, just stays up behind you as you try to push through. Undead fill the gaps that you made and start to surround you even more. Right. And in your turn there, that is going to bring us to Milo. Milo, what are you doing?
So each of the others have run into houses, and Milo is going to. I don't want to do anything with Knowledge Arcana, because I feel like I always do something with Knowledge Arcana.
Yeah, but that's your thing.
I can have more than one thing. Actually, yeah, we are going to do Knowledge Arcana, because I think it's the only skill that will affect, unless you have a better idea, what I was thinking. Using his, various and sundry scanning suite in his helmet, he is going to try and figure out which of the buildings has the densest population of non-undead, like where the most people are hiding, and is going to start using message to relay that information to the rest of the group.
Okay.
So
we're going off of like population knowledge of population density instead of like
he's scanning. So it's like, oh, there's like 6 people in this building, 3 people in that, using all the like based on footsteps, heat signatures, sound signatures, etc., etc.
Okay. All right.
Like the Predator.
I suppose.
Right. That's kind of more investigation or perception, I would say.
I'll take investigation.
You want to take investigation? Okay.
Yeah, I'll take
an investigation roll.
that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a 19.
There we go.
19. Very nice. Sort of taking to the skies a little bit, also sending off your drone, pulling off of the river, who is now just sort of communicating back to you what Artyom is currently seen, but not really had a chance to communicate out. Your drone has flown the length of the river at this point and made it back to you guys. As you've made it here, starts relaying what it's seen over your HUD. It is the length of the river. More importantly, I would like you to roll a retroactive investigation check. Well, no, I'm going to take your investigation check right there for this. This is fine. Those holes that are in the river are not punched out, clawed out, or anything like that. They are cut into the ice. On top of that, sort of looking out over the city, you guys are looking at different buildings and such. I'm going to say you identify 3 different buildings, much akin to the one that Azur has just ran into, like boarding house, like inns and taverns type thing, where people have congregated inside and seem to be trapped in currently.
And just as all this is coming in, he's using the mental link to relay, like, oh, a bunch of people over there, a couple in there. Would that 19 get me enough information to be able to tell whether or not it seemed like it was cut out from like top down?
Yeah,
or
top down.
Cut out? Okay.
And on top of everything, there may have been some sabotage. It looks like those holes were made from the surface, not from below.
Probably the people in that place.
All in the mental link. I'll say, Daniel, when you are keeping updated with this conversation as well. All right. In your Milo's turn there, it's going to bring us to the soldiers' turns, who start to fan out, instinctively going where they think they're needed. Let's see. Let's look at my soldiers list actually, quick. I don't think they're trained in too much. They are going to use perception to kind of see where people are and where they are currently needed, where their main forces are needed. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't roll for them. From this point out, Gandalf, you should roll for the NPCs. I will let you roll for roll for the soldiers. Fuck. Sorry, but that was a natural one on my part. So the soldiers, without much instruction, sort of stand up and start looking around. They see Azur sprint off into a building. They see Gorham sprint off to a group of people. But like a bit of like a group of undead come out, and they seem to start bracing to defend themselves rather than moving out into the city and defending the city and the citizens. That is going to bring us to Kaushik's turn. Kaushik, what are you doing?
Kaushik is gonna use her insight to kind of glean what you'd been saying about how when there's more panic and louder noises, the undead are more drawn to that area.
Mm-hmm.
And she's gonna take a small page from what Milo was talking about earlier, find an area a bit further away from people, and position herself to be able to use thaumaturgy to draw the undead away from the citizenry.
Okay, yeah, so that'll be your next round. Give me that insight check for this one to like position yourself properly.
Yeah.
I like that.
Thank you. That is a 17 plus 9. 25. So we do 19 plus 7, 26.
20,
Got it.
With the 26, looking around, you see the various buildings. Sort of the quiet place, actually, is going to be where they are, where you see some of them surfacing from, on a bridge over the river. So you take off, run to the bridge. It's quiet and sort of eerie, with the exception of like scratching on ice sounds going on beneath you. But you sort of position yourself right here. This is going to be far enough away from people that you think you could get their attention with your thaumaturgy. Awesome. All right. Ending your turn there, Kaushik. That's going to bring us to Crowley. Crowley, what you doing?
Crowley's going to run into one of those buildings, and he's going to try and get up to the survivors, and he's going to try and get them to be quiet as possible, and to like, let's start moving out.
Okay. Yeah. I know. I like that. Identifying one of the surviving groups that are currently alone, but you start to see undead start to turn towards them as screams start to come from them.
We must be quiet like the tale of the Warforged who rampage, yes. Quiet is the grave.
Give me a persuasion check.
21.
21. Very nice. Sort of get them all quiet. Your voice sort of, and seeing a Karnathi military official walking up to them, you get a group of just looks like elderly folk that are trying to make their way around. Saw a couple of zombies moving their direction. Nothing like super dangerous at this point because they're really far, but the squeaks and screams die down as you get up to them. They all fall quiet and just sort of look to you for direction about where they need to go. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Ending Crowley's turn, that's going to bring us to Artyom. Artyom, what are you doing?
I am going to do a little bit of what Kaushik was doing by yelling as loud as I can to semi-draw attention, but the other part of it is directing people that if they can't see, if they don't know what's going on, they're in the wild now. This isn't a city anymore. You got to get to high ground. River runs in the lowest parts of the city, and safety's in the highest part of the city. Knowledge, nature. It doesn't matter where you're going, but you got to go up.
Okay. So you're going to be pointing them towards the eastern side of the city.
Nighthold.
Towards the,
wait.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, are we on the
that's east of here. Yeah, that's east of here. So you're gonna sort of be pointing them in the direction of up the hill, sort of where they would have to cross, and sort of where you are right now. They'd have to cross the river to get there. Some of them on this side of the river where you are.
Gotcha.
But that's where you want to kind of direct people where to go. Maybe using knowledge nature to direct them across the ice, maybe safer passage. Okay, give me that check.
Sure. That is a 15 plus 5, so dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Very nice. You start screaming at people that are starting to move out on their own. Go ahead.
22. Sorry, I thought I had a plus 5. I read the wrong thing.
Gotcha. 22 is still very good. You make your way and start directing some people, telling them up the hill is safe. This is not a city anymore. And you start to get some groups that are starting to move across the ice slowly but surely as they start to make their way, following your instructions, though, staying away from where Koshik is and where they're coming up through the ice with your directions. You start to see small groups of people start trying to make it. You see one guy just full on start sprinting, maybe like one of the citizenry that was supposed to hang back and protect people, follows your directions well, full on sprints, goes to sprint across the river, just splash across the fucking ice, trying to make it across the river, just full on panicking. All right, and in your turn there, RTM, that is going to bring us to Boris's turn, and Boris is going to try to get his soldiers into fucking gear and start acting. So you see that he turns to one soldier, sort of like defending himself, and he takes like the butt end of his halberd and just like wraps him with it and like picks him up almost a solid 6 inches off the ground and says, "Get your fucking feet moving." 19 on the die for his intimidation, as he takes the guy and just sort of slams him into his and you start to see some feet moving in towards the directions like where towards Azur went into the city and the buildings and alleyways. That is going to be his turn, which is going to bring us to the top of initiative. Azur, what are you doing?
All right. So I see people in this building.
Yeah, I will say, Azur, you fly into the door of this building. Like I said, multiple stories, sort of different small fires getting bigger in here. You see one of the undead sort of wrap up someone and start dragging them back into the, almost like they're gonna just self-destruct, stepping back into the fire as you see flames start to catch up one of the undead's arms. And also because of them like grappling up, one of these citizens starts catching up their arm as well.
I'd try to save her. Get her out of there.
Yeah, what you doing?
Fuck it. Bolt to the dead person's head, the undead person's head.
Give me a skill that goes along with it.
A different skill.
Yeah.
Survival.
You can use the same skill. It'll just be a higher DC.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm gonna choose athletics and try to de-grapple her from this, rather than.
Okay, yeah, roll it up.
Okay, 17 plus 23.
23, very nice. Running in, sort of taking the crossbow, thinking about taking a shot for a second, as you see that as they're struggling against each other, it's not a clean shot and you can't take it. You sling it and go hop across the counter, start to rip this undead away from her, succeeding. This Carnatic woman just sort of stumbles back, older, and starts like crab walking away from this undead and towards the door. But now you have a live undead, an undead in your hands, moving around as it turns towards you, and you just hear like the gnashing of its teeth, like clicking together, trying to bite at your throat. It's in your hands now. Now, next round, you get to decide what to do with it. That is going to bring us to the undead.
He's like, "Oh hey, what's up?"
Woo! Undead, yeah.
The sort of quiet sounds, like the quiet fast running in the alleyways, seem to falter out a little bit, at least from this area that you're directly in. However, the building that you see Azur run into, you see them undead, still attracted by the sounds that are inside Azur. You start to see undead walk into the door, though undead from the river start to come into the door and through the windows, crawling through. About 15 of them making their way into this building towards you. Gorham, surrounded and trying to fight your way through. About 20 more, and the circle around you gets closer. One grabs you on by her breastplate. You sort of like tries to bite down at you, sticking your hammer into its mouth to keep it from doing so. What you hear some screams, small screams behind you. That is going to bring us to your turn. You sort of whip around. You see undead have fought past this older woman who's been protecting them, and are now like grabbing little Karnathi children, trying to pull them. What are you doing?
Fucking A, man. Gorm just disappears. He's going home. Okay.
Cast teleport.
Cast teleport through Grandpa Stone.
We gotta save the kids, man. Fucking, I don't know. How many kids are getting dragged off?
It looks like at least 3 or 4 are grabbed on right now. They haven't been pulled into the group or anything, but they hands are on children. Like, you have the older woman who's taking like both fists and like trying to fend off the undead. Jesus, I hate that phrasing. To fend off the undead, like trying to hammer fist some of them off, but it's not quite working.
An interesting approach. Not one I had thought of.
I hate you all. God damn it.
Hey, yo!
I hate it here. What are you doing, Gorham?
Oh, man. All right. Fuck.
That's right, James. We do what is necessary in times of war.
I'm gonna tell her, duck. I'm gonna fucking swing my hammer over her head when she ducks. Just bash the zombies that are grabbing onto the kids.
Okay, give me a skill associated with that. What are you rolling?
I guess I'm rolling athletics.
Yeah, okay. You're a bit tired from fighting through before. Your DC is going to be a little bit higher with using athletics again.
I mean, that's the skill that I have. So.
Okay, yeah. I mean, go for it, man. You tell me.
Yeah, so I'm gonna swing for him.
Let's see it.
Oh! That's a 29. I don't know why I'm acting like math is hard. It's 19 plus 10.
29, very nice. A solid Gainwood. Roll 2d20 for me really quickly. Let me know what you get. Gorham, taking your hammer and like sharp side grabbing 3 or 4 undead and just sort of fish hooking them off the kids. One still grabbing onto your breastplate as you do, not freeing yourself and focusing on freeing the children. You're able to like swing and group them up together in front of you as they start to surround you personally now. However, you've cleared a little bit of a way with that 29. It's clear a way for the grandmother. Sort of turns around, scoops up got 3 kids on each hip and starts to plummet, like just plunge through the opening that you've made. What are those 2d20?
12 and 14.
12 and 14. Okay. All right. Gorham, Gorham, you're grabbed by the breastplate as one starts to like bend down, and 2 or 3 of them converging on you now. You start to feel teeth as you're trying to push them back, but you've used all of your leverage to get the kids clear of here, and at least you've done that part. You feel teeth on one cheek and another one coming in just right above your eyes with mouth agape, and you see a sword plunge through the open mouth as it goes as blood sort of drips, and you hear from behind that zombie says, "I've got you, Mr. Gorham." As you see Jeremiah and Agariel in here, Agariel taking a couple of daggers, stabbing a couple of them and trying to drag them back away, not necessarily as effectively. All right, ending that is going to bring us to Milo's turn. Milo, what are you doing?
So his last action was to compile information using both his scanner and his drone to figure out where the closest densities of people were and where the undead were assaulting these people. And knowing he can't be in all these houses at once, spread real thin, he's going to get to a roof somewhere with a chimney, something he can kind of get as a stability point, and then
redirect all power from shields, redirect all power from propulsion devices, concentrate in bolter.
And he is going to, while actively using the drone flying from window to window, basically start wall banging zombies that are trying to drag off people.
Okay, all right.
Hell
Gotcha.
yeah.
What are you rolling for that? What skill?
If you'll let me use Arcana for, rearranging all that energy and redirecting it properly.
Sure.
Awesome. Yeah. That'll be a 28.
28, very nice. Jolton flies up and over into another building, sort of flies down into the opposing chimney as it sort of scan goes out and into your HUD. We know this is all cinematic right now. I'm not gonna we're loosey goosey right now. Don't think this is new mechanics, but sort of locking on your Arcana, sort of like the arcane code that's running through it. Your wrist, the launcher locking on as you sort of following a zombie through the wall. Hopefully that was a zombie, at least because you got it. And then another one walking through.
Oh no.
You see it shambling, you're fairly sure. Another one shambling through, locking on through a window. One you see grabbing onto some little small child, it looks like, and done as it takes, and you see a small form just running down the stairs, and then confirmed when they run out of the front door and start following the group of people that's going across the river. All right. Ganowin, you're rolling for the soldiers now. Give me a 1d20 roll for all of them.
A singular d20. Oh
Yep.
boy. You chose wrong, Dungeon Master. That's a 6.
I chose right. With a 6, they're going to be following your lead mostly, maybe not being as effective as they could be with 40 plus people, but going and with giving them a little bit of a bonus, not much, from Major Yavorsik's instruction. They start fanning out a bit, going into buildings. Azur, you see several of them start trying to to fend off the zombies. I almost said it again. They start slicing and dicing some of the undead that are trying to get into your building. Gorham coming over there with you as well, slicing some of them from behind where Jeremiah and Agariel are as well. All right. That being their turn, Kaushik, that brings us back to you. Go ahead.
I just had a question. Did I get my short rest done?
We have not had a short rest yet. We have time.
Okay, I was just checking. Go ahead with what you're saying.
I was just going to say sort of what you're seeing right now. Gorham sort of surrounded on all sides. Jeremiah and Agariel sort of sliding into battle. Artyom sort of directing people up and away from you onto the river, but they have to go around. You're sort of isolated out here. The screams are a little bit distant from you, a little bit quieter, and you're going to try to make zombies come towards you. That was the intent from last time. Tell me what you're doing.
Yeah. My bonus action is to cast Thaumaturgy and just start screaming.
Okay. What's the skill that's going to be going along with that?
Oh, I have to do that again. Ooh, fun. I didn't think about this. What the hell? Deception?
You're going to do deception?
Deception.
Okay.
I'll make the undead think that it's actually a group of people screaming. They cannot see it, but they are distant from me, and so the only way for them to see this is to travel toward this. Yeah.
Okay.
Deception.
All right. Let's see the deception check. Roll it up.
19.
Plus, or is that total?
19 plus 7.
Holy shit! I keep forgetting that you are trained in
26
deception.
again.
26.
Let's go.
Yeah,
because it was 17 plus 9 last time, and this time it was 19 plus 7. Let's go.
Azur, as you're sort of grappling onto this zombie, the zombies that you see filtering in through the window, you see soldiers behind them sort of like just flailing on, like wailing on them with swords and stuff. They all sort of turn onto the soldiers at this point. The soldiers are in their way and what has kind of got their attention. Gorham, several of them turn away from you in this direction of Scream, starts shambling away from you. Milo looking through the walls, and probably the people that you have sort of gotten quiet, this group of zombies that were approaching them have now stopped and looked off in the direction of Kaushik. Kaushik, you have a horde of about 70 zombies about to start walking towards you. That was a 26 total?
Yes, sir.
All right, is that going to be it for you? That's what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's going to bring us
I'll figure out the next part of the plan.
Yeah. That's we're doing it by the seat of our pants here. We got to save people. I will say with that, Crowley, sort of hiding along with and keeping these people quiet, you see a sort of dark green tinted undead step out from the shadows, sort of crimson dripping off of its teeth, its head just sort of twitching very, very fast. Familiar sight from what you saw back in Scairn, as it steps out of the alleyway looking at where Kaushik is and leans down almost in a prowling stance and takes off at inhuman speed towards where Kaushik is on the bridge. That brings us to the top of your turn. What are we doing?
Seeing this, I would like to, I'm not sure what check this out. I was like Deception or Arcana, but I would like to whisper under my breath and bring some spirits up in the direction of where it's running and form kind of like a little wall to, like, I haven't decided if it's an illusion or what, but just to block off the corridor, make it look like it's just disappeared entirely.
So maybe some illusion magic to
pretty much,
sort of think that its path is blocked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll say that's Arcana. Someone's already rolled it. It'll be a little bit higher for you, but go ahead and roll it.
I know. Let's see what we got here. Interesting. Oh. 19.
19. That is the DC you needed. So, using spirits to sort of form a wall as it sort of starts galloping towards Kaushik, looks left and right for just moments, and as those needed moments come up, you raise a wall up in front of it, obstructing its view. Crowley, I'm going to let you decide. It looks left and right. Who does it see of your party members? I was saying it can see everybody but Azur or Gandalin right now.
Who looks the most distracted, Dion?
The most distracted?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Let me judo that back
They
to
are
you.
all very well like into their own task at the moment, so they're all like equally very focused. You're sort of the only person seeing this right now, aside from Kaushik, who saw this thing galloping at her.
Well, obviously it's not going after Kaushik, because, I just did all that.
Correct.
So I'm just going to send it after Azir.
Well, it can't see Azur inside the
Oh, it
building.
can't see
remember?
Azur.
Yeah, Azur
Milo.
and Gandalin. Milo. You put up the wall, and this faintly glowing lavender individual sort of hovering in the sky as it looks up and sees them.
It's like an angel.
You see it start to grab the corners of the building and just start climbing up there. All right.
Milo, I can't make another skill check. No, I'm kidding.
And in your turn there, that is going to bring us to RTM. RTM, what are you doing?
Well, that changes things a little bit. How close is that building to the ice?
Which one are we talking about here?
The building that has this quick dude climbing up it.
I mean, this is probably within 50 feet of you, not very far.
Oh, 50. Okay. Shit. Well, that guy climbing up,
Like, the move speed and everything is very loosey-goosey here, so don't constrain yourself to mechanics all that much right here. I want this to be very cinematic. So if you want to do something, let's talk it through.
well, in that case, are there any distressed horses nearby?
I'll give you a roll. I'm not going to make it 50-50, but I'll give you a roll. Always high?
Yeah,
Okay. We're going to say 70 or higher. You have a distressed horse nearby.
sure.
Okay. Mother bitch. Give me a second. That's out of the 15%.
Indeed.
You look around, there are no horses beside you at the moment. It
Hail
looks like
Mary
there
for
may
animal
have been.
handling.
Do I?
What about distressed cows?
No.
I'm not gonna roll for every fucking animal in this zoo, bro.
A goose.
I will try to. I don't have a good one, but it's the thing that makes sense for Artyom. I'm gonna try and quickly get over that ice and hit that dude climbing up the wall with a thorn whip and rip him the fuck off the wall.
So you see him start climbing up towards Milo. You're gonna try to do a thorn whip. Give me a skill that's gonna go along with that.
Athletics.
You do an athletics check. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
22 again. 18 plus 4.
18 plus 4. Thorn whip goes up, wraps around it. I'm gonna give it a little opposed roll. A little opposed roll. You start yanking on it, and it, like, you see fingernails just sort of breaking off into the brick as it was climbing up. It looks down at you, snarls, and as you sort of, like, fights against your thorn whip's initial pull before it dispels, sees that though, and you've gotten its attention again, or gotten its attention as it drops off the wall. You're 15 feet away from it. Starts staring you down, starts to get in that low pose again to jump on top of you.
Okie doke.
All right. In your turn there, that is going to bring us around to Boris again. Okay. Boris not very effective this round as he takes his halberd and tries to, like, clear some undead out of the way, some groups of undead that are making their way towards Kaushik, just trying to thin out the herd, but not being very effective with it. That is going to bring us to the top of the initiative with Azur. Azur, what are you doing?
Oh, brother, I need to get out of here.
You're still currently grappled onto an undead who's grabbing back onto your leathers and stuff, onto your fur coat, trying to, like, pull you in and give you the kiss of death. And other undead filtering into the building now at this point, like, little kitchenette area that you're in and the little counter in front of you, they're maybe 15 feet away from you and just shambling ever closer. Full disclosure, Azur, the undead go immediately after you.
Okay.
What you doing?
Yeah. Goodness. I guess survival instinct's gonna kick in again, and I'm gonna try to bolt this guy to death in the head and make my way around out of this building.
Okay, what skill are you using for it?
Like I said, survival. It was kind of
You gonna go for survival again? Okay.
Yeah.
DC gets higher. You're gonna try to navigate, sort of find a path through these undead. Go for it.
Okay. That will be a 22.
22. Very nice. Not much above the DC that you would need to do this, but able to find a small opening as you run across and are able to slide under the legs of these and out of the front door, sort of using the ice and frost that some of them have dragged in to slide under their legs. You end up grabbing onto a soldier's leg and picking yourself back up through the other side as all 15 or 20 just sort of turn around in unison and start marching back towards them, arms outstretched. You see some of the soldiers get grabbed. One of them, unfortunate enough to get taken down into the undead. You just see him grappled through, screaming as he's fighting. His sword gets ripped away, and with it, his arm as well, as he's pulled into the group of undead. But you're out of the building now and into the night air once more. That is going to bring us to the undead's turn. Gotta do. So this is the one that is looking at RTM currently, along with the others. Since RTM's not here, I'm not gonna. Goodbye, D20. I'm gonna roll the other ones first. Okay. The group around Gorham gets a little bit more dense as they start surrounding Jeremiah and Agariel as well. Agariel's arm gets grabbed and twisted behind him. Jeremiah's sword starts to get pulled on as he starts to try to rip it away. The undead around the soldiers grab 2 or 3 more soldiers that Azur just slid past. 2 or 3 more soldiers get dragged into the group of undead. All right. Kashik, they are also approaching you on this turn. They're not going to quite get to you at this point, but you have a fairly sizable horde that is now making their way. And there is one undead that is currently looking at Artyom. Artyom, this, as he gets down in a low stance, starts galloping on the ground, very bestial and fast in nature, leaps across the ground, maybe like 15 feet, just leaping at you, grabbing onto you and knocking you prone under it. You have like just your staff up in its mouth, trying and just slobber getting all over your face right now, but you're prone with this feral zombie on top of you right now. Ending the undead's turn there. Gorham, it is your turn, and let me get 2 more d20 rolls from you after Gorham's turn there, Gandwin. Gorham, what you doing?
Oh boy. So athletic checks, I would assume, would be very difficult at this point.
Correct. It would go up by 2. It's going up by 2 every time.
Every time I do one, or every time someone else does one as well?
Every time athletics is used.
Okay. So we're not really
athletics. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So we're not really focusing on mechanics so much as just the skill itself, right?
Correct. So if you can make it make sense to me, if you say something like, yeah, I'm going to use persuasion by persuading them with my hammer, the DC is going to be very, very high, right? So the more that it makes sense, the more normalized the DC will be.
Okay,
It gets to be cooler in cutscenes, basically.
Let me run this by you. With a religion check, could I say like a short prayer to suffuse myself with like divine energy and try to ward off the zombies around me, the weaker ones at least?
I like it. Pull it up.
All right.
The baseline DC I've been using is 17. Your DC is 17.
Woo!
All right, so Gorham's gonna hold his hammer up, kind of forward. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it before I roll anyway. Happy are those that do the work of the ancestors. I am their right hand, an instrument of their vengeance.
He died. Oh, fuck.
That's a This skill is what, 5? It says 17.
17 is
5
what you
plus
needed.
12.
17 is exactly what you needed. Hold your hammer out, give your prayer out to the ancestors, the sigil that your grandfather marked onto your armor so long ago flares with a little blue-white energy, and as it does, as undead are turned away from you and around, clearing out a small area, maybe 5 or 10 feet around you, some that are grappled onto Agariel and Jeremiah as well, sort of letting go, temporarily turned away. What are those 2 d20s that you're rolling there? Again, when would you roll?
We got a 19 and a 13.
19 and 13, both very good.
Yeah.
Taking the opportunity here, you see 19 was, I think it used Jeremiah first. Using the opportunity presented by you there, Gorham, Jeremiah takes his sword and just 3 or 4 of them, decapitating, pulling them out, reaches a hand into you, pulling you out of the center of it. Agariel taking the as some of them reach out and to grab and pull you back in, taking his daggers and just flaying arms as they come out and try to grab you, like locks into some of their bones and twist as they try to reach out for you, taking that opportunity. Awesome, very good. This area is starting to get thinned out a little bit between what you've been doing here and what the B team has been doing here, Gorham. Just a few stragglers left here in this area. Milo, sort of picking off undead through the walls at this moment. You think you have cleared at the very least the top 2 floors of this one building. What are you doing on this turn?
There is a horrifying, weird, fast zombie coming up to me, correct?
RTM has pulled it down off the building, and it is now on top of RTM's prone form, like gnawing and gnashing at him as his staff is in its mouth, trying to prevent it from biting him.
Gotcha. Well, he currently has to wait for his shields and thrusters to get back online. So, question for you, DM.
Yeah.
Do you count tool proficiencies as skills for the purpose of these skill checks?
Talk me through it.
Seeing the situation with Artyom and this fast zombie trying to chew his face off, he's just going to run along the roof in that direction, tiles clashing as he goes, shit, 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 shit. And I would like to make a, I don't know if you would rule this as like a alchemy or tinker. I suppose it could be either or both. My bonus is the same for each, because they both use intelligence, right?
Right.
Toolkits, yeah. And he is going to basically try and finagle together some like flashbang style device that will like disable temporarily that fast zombie and let our team get to safety, and just getting to the edge of the building like, hope this works.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, let's call it alchemy, as you take a couple of volatile chemicals, like just from your toolkits on your side, pouring them into the same, like sort of trying to make like a white phosphorus type deal into the same container when mixed. Take it, let's see the roll.
Yeah! 24.
24, very nice.
Artyom, close your eyes!
Do you close your eyes, RTM?
No?
No? Alright.
I'm not gonna be like, you're gonna die.
Why would I close my eyes? That's stupid. Ah! That's not right.
Christ.
Yeah, sure, roll me a d4 really quickly there, Milo.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
Two. RTM, you're blinded for 2 rounds. As this thing is like gnashing at you, you hear RTM close your eyes, like, I can't fucking do that right now. You're in a bit of a situation. You just see this explosion and the fucking sun is in your eyes for 2 rounds now. Also effective against the undead, that sort of, but you feel the pressure lift off of you, Artyom. Your staff no longer holding back anything. You're not exactly sure why, just the sounds of like shrieking in front of you. But Milo, you can see the thing is grabbed onto its eyes and starts like just fumbling back away from Artyom. And in your turn, that is going to bring us to the soldiers again. We are going to see. Ganowin, roll it up for me. Roll me the soldiers.
Hell yeah. Just the one?
Yes.
1d20? Okay. D20 still. Better this time. 12.
12. Okay. They still get bonuses to these though.
That's double as good as last time.
With a 12, they start to thin out the herd of the building that Azur was on. Not to any great effectiveness, but they're holding their line at the very least. None of them are getting snatched in anymore, sort of fighting back, thinning out that herd. Some of them break off and go and sort of surround Artyom around this thing that's grabbing its eyes. With it blinded, they make pretty easy, that lowering the DC make pretty easy work of stabbing some swords into it, not necessarily bringing it down, but hurting it for sure. And with that, the last little bit that is around Gorham currently dispatched. Kaushik in front of you, not necessarily getting the chance to attack, but they bring up sort of a flanking position on the undead that are sort of running at you, and starts to like move forward in a phalanx type position. All right. Ending the soldier's turn. That is going to bring us to Kaushik. Kaushik, what are you doing now?
I am going to use my perception skill. This is what I'm thinking, and I'm not sure if this is what's. I'm not sure if I'm thinking what is laid out, so I do need you to let me know if this is correct. I am on a bridge.
Yep, solo dolo, out on a bridge over a river.
This bridge over this river separates the people from an area where there are no zombies. Correct.
That you're seeing currently, yeah. They are being directed towards an area of safety at the very least.
So could Kaushik correctly presume that she could at least buy more time to get these people out of here if she can pull a very large group, say 70 or so, zombies across this bridge and destroy it?
And destroy the bridge?
Yes. I know they can still find their way back through the river and climbing up the rocks or whatever the hell the reason the bridge is there to separate one piece of land from another. But I'm trying to buy time to get these people out of here.
Right. Okay. All right. Tell me how you're doing that. What are you doing?
Well, for my role, it's perception to see if I can gather that information, to see if I can see if the bridge is something that I could destroy. My idea was to use where is it at? The spell. Flame strike. I don't know what the bridge is made out of.
It's a wooden bridge.
So the idea is if I can get them across / while they're on the bridge, I can maybe take some out while I'm taking the bridge out. You never know.
Okay.
Just
Also,
flame strike the whole fucking thing and see what happens.
You could just flame strike 70 zombies. This is a pretty big spell.
That's true. But I wanna try to.
I want to kill a bridge
They're
too.
not gonna all die from the flame strike.
Okay.
Right? I presume they're not gonna all die from the flame strike. So I want to try to kill them as well as stop them from easily being able to go back.
Okay.
Is that something that I could probably gather?
I like this idea.
Okay.
So using this round, trying to find like the best place to hit, flame striking the bridge, probably breaking the ice and sending the undead back into the river, hopefully dead, if not very, very hurt. Give me that perception check. I like that. That's dope.
Yep.
That's dope. That's real dope.
Thanks. Not quite as good. That's an 11 plus 9 for dirty 20.
Dirty 20, your DC was 19. Success.
Okay.
You look around on the bridge. You think that identifying, all right, it's wood. I think I can summon enough energy to collapse the bridge. The weight of the bridge itself, maybe the spell can't break the bridge and the ice, but the weight of the bridge should be able to, if I hit it in the very center, getting the undead up onto the bridge with that much weight should break the ice as well. And you're able to back up, sort of like goading those two towards you. Yeah, absolutely. Dope. All right. Crowley, that brings us to you. What are you doing?
I think it's time to start moving the villagers a little bit further along now that I think everyone's sufficiently distracted.
Okay.
I'm gonna start trying to move them along. It's like, quietly as you can with me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
What you using?
I don't think it's persuasion anymore. I think it might have to be stealth.
I'm gonna use stealth. Yeah. So you have a couple more as you sort of talking to this group. You have another group of people, sort of like old man looks around the corner at you and goes, like waves on, and you see about 15 more people show up around the corner, staying quiet, like following you as they're talking. And you have a group of about 25 people now that are just sort of following you. Go ahead and roll that stealth check.
Multiplying like rabbits. He's Garnetti rabbit though.
This is what we do. Not much else to do in the winter time.
Is he wrong?
All right, let me look at my stealth check. All right, so 17 plus 8 on that one.
Very nice. First time stealth has been used. It's a success. Taking them, sort of leading them through the back alleyways towards a quieter part of the city, directing them through, like keeping them low, keeping them quiet the whole way through and away from the chaos, directing them towards where RTM was directing people up the hill and towards like Nighthold area, and away from where you see Kaushik sort of examining this area and starting to gather some energy in her hands. Awesome. Dope. That is going to bring us to RTM. Your turn. You are blind. What would you like to do while blinded? You can still hear at the moment. But
so a bunch of dudes rushed over and started boot partying the guy that was on top of me, right? Is that what I heard?
From what you can hear, you no longer have the weight of the zombie, and you do hear some soldiers around you currently.
All right.
You don't know what direction it's going in right now, as you still hear the zombie up and fighting.
Well, I'm going to use perception and try to use a winding branch that will just grow off the end of my staff and try and touch the soldiers that are nearby me. Since maybe in that check I heard that the thing didn't get off the ground, and doing so, since this is all, theater of the mind flavor stuff, I'm going to make Barkskin actually not worthless and buff these guys up to keep boot partying the shit out of them.
Okay. All right. Very nice. Yeah, give me a perception check. I'm going to go ahead and say your DC is going to be a little bit higher already, not just because it's been used already, but because you're blind.
It doesn't matter. It's nat 20. We're good.
Natural 20. Let's get some nat 20s in chat.
Man, he said, DM, fuck you.
I don't think anybody's failed yet, really.
There were little sunglasses Ian in there. Let's go.
Why are sunglasses now on Ian?
You can modify an emote with your channel points.
Oh, gotcha.
What?
Okay.
So I put sunglasses on Ian.
I thought it was a glitch on my screen earlier. I was looking at it, I was like, damn, I have a line across my second monitor.
I'm dabbing.
It's an
That is
emote to
the
modify.
dab sus.
I'll put sunglasses on me too. Hold on.
Sussy dab.
All right. So, yeah, with a natural 20, just sort of calming yourself. The zombie's no longer on top of you. Using that natural sort of intuition, wisdom sort of spell, reaches out, touches one guy on a shoulder, and he's shoulder to shoulder with another guy. And though you can't see it, those who could in this very moment see these guys start to have skin that sort of harden and take on the appearance of wood as they just continue. And the zombie, although blind, reaches out, grabs the guy and bites, and instead like spits out fucking tree bits onto the ground. That's dope. I like that. All right. That's gonna bring us to Boris's turn. Think about everybody's sort of predicament right now. I think Azur's group is probably having the worst time right now. And he's gonna go over there, and he is going to try to assist some.
Wait till that group hits Kaushik.
Sort of takes his halberd, sticks it into one side of the, like, just sort of reaching across all of the soldiers, Azur, that you see. Like, Boris is a big guy, so he stands probably a head taller than most of the fighting folk in this unit right here. Takes his halberd 10 feet across, stabs it into like a pillar of the building, and then brings it back, like clotheslining several, like most of the zombies, knocking a lot of them prone. Being that when he does that, it is now your turn. What are you doing, Azur?
Oh man, trying to think of a skill.
Out of coffee. Well, that's probably a good thing at the moment.
Like 5 shots of espresso ass.
I'm hyped though.
Put a little G Fuel in there.
Snort the coffee
Mainline the G
grounds.
Fuel.
I ain't got G Fuel, but I do have pre-workout in there.
Mainline the pre-workout.
Do a little
Just-
dry scoop on stream, straight to the dome. All right, Azur, what you doing? Sorry, I'll get off track.
Guess in a way. Let's see. Guess I'm going to use perception to see which of these zombies are the most likely to fall, and then pew pew.
Okay, this is the third time I want to say perception's been used, which is going to make your DC 19, 21, 23. DC 23.
Woo!
Do you want to use perception?
Okay.
That cat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cat
Yeah.
says, "Let's do it."
Let's do it. Let's can't say it.
Okay, DC 23, roll it up.
Let's go. Easy clap. Easy.
Woo. 24.
24, just succeeding. Taking your crossbow, sticking it through the soldiers that are standing, sort of like using one of them as a fucking brace, and just looking at the zombies that are on the ground, using the ammo that's just sort of appearing into your crossbow and pinning a lot of these to the ground as you dispatch of several of them, thinning out this crowd of zombies. All right. And in your turn there, that is going to bring us to the undead. Hordes sort of shuffling past up to and onto the bridge after you, Kasha, as you're sort of using your thaumaturgic voice to scream and get loud, using that voice to sort of goad them onto the bridge. They're moving towards you. We're gonna see how fast they progress and if they progress faster than you're expecting them to.
These zombies also had 5 shots of espresso.
What?
Keeping pace with you, like just trolling them along like a fish as they just sort of slowly stalk towards you. This bridge, 50 feet across at this point, holding the weight. You just hear the wood start to creak under the weight of the zombies that are coming across as your foot steps onto snow onto the other side of the river. Just no sounds from the undead. Undead are, I mean, you've been around them your whole life, but this was what makes them so intimidating in battle, is there's no scream from most of them, with the exception of some souped up zombies that RTM's currently dealing with, but just sort of silent wood creaking as they step over towards you. That is gonna, wait, I need to roll for the one that is currently blind still, as well as fighting against some guys with arc skin, which is going to increase his difficulty as well. Soldiers using their newfound toughness through the bark skin, you able to use their arms as shields, even blocking their teeth, using that, take swords and just a couple of stabs. Milo, looking down at this situation that you've sort of blinded your friend, but also blinded what was trying to kill him. You see several of these soldiers stab down, and that fast form goes limp at their feet. And RTM is just blind on the ground currently. All
Hey, he
right.
still got his face, so I call that a dub.
Let's roll percentage for still having his face. No, it's fine. Ending that. That is going to bring us around to Gorham. Gorham, what are you doing? The majority of that, what's around you, is thinned out. Azure is thinning out a crowd. Ones that was on our team is thinned out. Crowley has stealth away, isn't really in line right now, but the main group of undead you see creaking up onto a bridge towards Kaushik, who is just yelling out, goading them across this bridge. Divine energy sort of crackling around her fingers. You see a phalanx of soldiers on the other side of the bridge, opposite of Kaushik, sort of moving closer and sort of crowding them like cattle into a pen. What are you doing?
That's a good question. I'm gonna assume Kaushik has a plan.
It looks like she does. Oh, why is it squished?
Kaushik's always been real good at pretending to know what she's doing.
How many zombies around me and Jeremiah and Gariel?
Just a few more around you guys.
Guess we could finish off those and then. What is the DC for athletics at this point?
You have used athletics twice. Azure used athletics once as well, so the DC is also 20. No, Artyom also used athletics to pull it off, so the DC for athletics is now 25.
I hate all of you.
Athletics, the only strength skill.
Use your noodle.
Use sleight of hand with strength to crack a
Acrobatics.
hole in the, in the
Use
ice.
sleight of hand to steal their spine right from their chest with strength.
Hey man, you argue it, I'm just gonna base the DC off of what you argue.
You got a 1-inch punch them, just like yes. The deftness.
Oh fuck, dude, I don't know.
You got this.
I'm just gonna do athletics. Fuck it. We're gonna clear out these zombies.
Clear out the ones that are on. Like one's grabbing onto Jeremiah's sword, the other one grappling like Gariel's arms behind him. Using athletics DC 25. Let's see the roll.
Easy.
It was close. This is 23.
23.
Give it to him!
Bardic inspiration.
Give it to him!
Gorham, you've used a lot of your strength clearing out this wave of zombies, saving the kids, your muscles. You're using it, and you reach out your hammer to grab the one that is currently onto Jeremiah. Unfortunately, your arms are just giving out at the moment as they slip off of one of the zombies, and one sinks its teeth right into Jeremiah's shoulder. You just hear him cry. He goes, "Ah!" as it's just biting down into his shoulder. Unfortunately, not fast enough or strong enough to rip it off of him. Failure. I'm so sorry. I just pointed at you and said failure. That was a failure out of a lot of successes.
God damn.
I was not calling you personally a failure. I'm so sorry. That is I love you, James, but Gorham failed in that instance. That's okay.
Gorham, you're a failure.
Failure happens sometimes in this game, and that's okay. It tells the story. It's wonderful. All right. So, anyways, I feel really bad for just pointing and saying failure.
Alex said, "I'm gonna kill everybody you like in this campaign. Your brother, your niece, your nephew."
Confidence.
Your father.
Ending your turn there,
A
Gorham.
junior bacon cheeseburger.
That is going to bring us to Milo. Milo, what are you doing?
So what's the as we're done with the flashbang and been shooting through walls and stuff, what is the zombie situation at the moment, or undead situation at the moment.
Yeah, undead situation currently. There are still a few that are on Gorham, Agariel, and Jeremiah in front of you, not too far down below. You see one has just sunk his teeth into Jeremiah. Gorham looks like he's just breath heaving, trying to fight off all these undead. There's still a few that are around him and surrounding him. The majority of the horde, though, is currently slowly walking across the bridge. You see you hear Kaushik mostly shouting out, getting their attention, and you just see crackling energy on her hands as she's starting to raise her hands to the sky.
Second question, what is the casualty situation?
On which side?
On like how many injured people are there? Civilian or military?
That is a question that would take some time investigating if you would like to go into the buildings and check. But out on the streets, you do see dead and injured soldiers. Probably of the 40 force that you brought into this area, maybe 10 or 15 are down for the count. As far as civilians and stuff, they're just sort of here and there, but you can't really, you can't get a whole number. Just within a quick line of sight, probably 20.
So I am gonna reuse Arcana.
Okay.
Milo is going to still just oh shit while standing on the edge of the roof he's on, like frantically, dropping, editing glyphs and inputting sigils to redirect the magical energy that usually launches the explosives to instead have a healing effect on their targets.
Okay. All right.
So basically a magic missile of cure wounds type thing.
Okay. All right. I see. Due to the complexity of that, I'm going to add +2, and Arcana has used
once before.
You've used it once. Crowley used it. You've used it once. Crowley has used it once. So
I didn't know Crowley had used it once.
19, 21. Your DC is currently 23.
Fuck it, let's ball. So just like when he did all the panels opening up and launching a spray of projectiles into the sky, except this time they don't go boom. All right. I don't want this to bite me in the ass, so I'm actually going to flash a genius this one.
How many of those do you have left?
Now?
One more. Okay.
And that will make it a 25.
25. Succeeding by 2. Going out, infusing it with some positive energy instead as they reach out, hitting different targets that are down, soldiers and citizens alike, as they reach out, hitting some of their targets. You see one hit a guy in the leg who screams at first and then like moves his knee back and forth how it was going. It's like, it must be out there, and like moves along into a fight. You see it just hit a citizen that was just sort of laying in the street, who wakes up like holding their head and looking around sort of dazed. Unable to spot Crowley and his gang, but able to see the rest of the horde of people moving away from the zombies and start following that way. Dope. All right, Gainwin, 2 rolls for me, please, for the soldiers. I'm sorry, 1 roll rolls for the soldiers. Yeah, 1 roll for the soldiers.
You got it, boss.
Oh no, I'm there. They are in 2 distinct groups right now. Never mind. Our team's group was already successful. 1, go for it.
7.
7.
I was hopeful when you said when you were like, "Oh, you're gonna roll something." We're gonna help them, but
I am gonna say, luckily, they are in no real active situation right now, other than Phala like flanking on the other side of Kaushik's bridge right now. I will say with a 7, they get a little bit too far. So if this does not succeed with Kaushik on the other side of the bridge, they will have an egress and a way to escape the other side of the bridge, essentially fucking all of the work that has just happened.
No pressure.
With that roll. Ending the soldier's turn, that is going to bring us to Kaushik. What are you doing?
I guess I am going to. This is hard. Oh no. So many things have been used so much, and the DCs are so high. Kaushik is going to use her skill of persuasion to call out to the undead and essentially herd them into the middle of the bridge and oh, this is hard. Just I don't know. Oh God. I just want them. I want them. I want them in the middle of the bridge. I want them to stop.
Mm-hmm. So persuasion's been used 3 times now. You've used it once, or you've used it twice. No, you've used it once. Milo has used. I'm sorry. It's been used 3 times. Crowley has used it. I know it's been used 3 times. So the DC right now is 19, 21, 23.
Okay.
Oh, and the soldiers used it.
Hella.
So just persuade them into the area that I need them to be in, and then drop the flame strike.
Okay.
That's the goal. And I am choosing to use my birthday 20.
Okay. Using your birthday 20. How timely. Birthday girl coming up. I see you. All right. Anyway.
Timing.
Use or lose it. You know what they say.
So that's a 27.
27.
Mm-hmm.
Kaushik, using your voice, corralling the undead, other soldiers on the other side as undead shamble across the bridge towards you, waiting for the perfect moment to get all of them, as many as you can, onto this bridge. The divine energy just sort of crackling around your fingers. Birthday 20 is an automatic success. Kaushik, decide their fate. Tell me what it looks like.
So Kaushik's eyes go white. She falls into the snow on her knees with her arms outstretched into the air and screams at the top of her lungs. 1 second, I'll tell you what she screams. Oh, I don't know what she screams.
The undead slowly marching forward, crackling energy.
She screams. The blood is the life, and the life is in me. And then rains fire down upon the bridge.
A massive flame pillar from the skies, blinding white light in this area of red and darkness, tearing through the bridge, the weight of it collapsing further, and the weight of all of the zombies. The bridge is just incinerated in the middle, the weight of it hitting the middle of the river in this ice. And as you just hear, along with your flame strike, the ice massive fissure into the middle of it as zombies that aren't immediately incinerated and just injured start trying to climb out of the ice that sort of starts floating up on its side and just sinks, like some pieces flip over and just taking out groups of zombies into the river and washing them away. I think that is a good place to end initiative as you all see the bridge sort of collapse into this river, and Kaushik on the other side with her hands
eyeballs
raised in the air.
leaking blood.
blood streaming down her face. There's no river now. Or there's no bridge now crossing the river, but you do see on the other side, sort of causing Artyom, your eyesight comes back to you, the undead sort of twitching, still on the ground but down. Gorham and Garrel Soul finishing off the last of the undead around you. It looks like I said a Garrel Soul, I meant a Garrel and Jeremiah. Jeremiah looks like he took a bite to the shoulder. That's bleeding a bit, but he sort of like tosses his shoulder around after a Garrel takes a dagger like into its head and peels it off of him. So Shining Vanguard, as Kaushik does this, flame strike all of you. Sort of moment of quiet looking around. Seems like this district, at the very least, you've done what you can in clearing out undead. You do, sort of heaving, coming up into this area, looking like they themselves have just fought. You see Sirhij, a giant minotaur that you saw earlier, holding on to his half of a wagon wheel with a serrated blade. A couple of other veterans coming up to you guys. I see you have found a welcoming party as well. Sort of heavy breathing from all of them. It's on you. What are you guys doing?
I'm gonna make sure the ice is still stable enough for people to cross over it. With some control water while that's happening, and I'm still trying to completely see everything. Kind of waving people along.
Yeah, absolutely. Taking control water, just making sure people can cross safely. They're still moving quickly. Giving Kaushik also a way to cross back across the river towards you all. But this bridge, dedicated to some Aetur historical figure, certainly now obliterated, will have to be rebuilt sometime later on.
Sorry, fella.
They
probably sucked.
Yeah, they're definitely an aristocrat for sure. So you're doing the Lord's work here. So, but Artyom easily enough carving a path. Sirhij, it looks like they have just gotten out of a fight themselves. End up walking up to you. You guys seeing Nighthold above you. Sirhij walks up. Quick glance at Boris, but nothing much. Instead, decides to turn to your group. Crowley, you've led this group onto safety, and they sort of joined up with the major flow that's going up towards Nighthold at this point, all moving sort of in this central location. So, what are y'all doing?
Continuing up the river, I suppose.
Kaushik is wiping the blood from her eyes to see if her flame strike works.
You found it very successful.
Hell yeah.
You do see bits like so the river's still flowing and a lot of the ice is like broken up or melted, but it's quickly freezing back just from the temperature. But you just see zombies, like parts of zombies floating in the river, stuck on ice floats and stuff like that. It looked to be extremely effective.
Just gonna look down at it, flipping the bird.
It's weird.
Our DM is now an anonymous individual.
Put on the deep voice filter.
There it goes.
Okay. So Artyom, you're saying continue up the river. It's Sirhij and his team look like they have fought sort of halfway up the river towards you guys, and you guys are meeting in the river. They look fresh out of fights, just like the one that you have been through. It is chaos in the city. Sort of labored breathing coming from Sirhij. This big bandage wrapping across his torso. He's probably used like 15 metric yards of fucking gauze to wrap his massive torso. So
all right, well, if I guess we need to form a perimeter so any more don't get over the river, or
you heard them. River, east side, go that way. Check any of the holes that are still left. Make sure there's no more coming out. Perimeter on the river. Whatever's left of you, divide in half each side, up and down.
And if I guess if there's anyone left on the east side, make sure they get across the river. We can just destroy the bridges. Use that as the next fallback line.
What about those that let him in?
If we find them, we have to do something about them.
Turning to look at him.
They were let in from top side. Those holes were cut down, not up.
Sir Hish still speaking at this point. Do you know by who?
Don't know, just what we saw while getting our perspective on the fight.
Sort of anger fills him at the moment. Kind of people do this to their own people. That's a good idea. I like the idea of using the river as our fallback line. We all get to the other side. Use it in case they're still coming through this way. The walls will not hold long. At least not at the gates where we were. Boris speaks up as well. Same for the other side. Giants will knock it down within the hour, I think. We need to fall back further into the city.
How many holes were there? Was it like 3 or 4 or like dozens?
It followed like the bridge pattern that you see in Atur. It looks like they were sort of around those areas. So probably in multiple at those areas. So like 10 or 12 through the city, it looks like.
Would it be possible to expedite the refreezing of those holes?
How so?
Or there's a giant bridge-sized hole in the river, so I don't really think that's going to be too easily repaired.
Sorry, never mind.
Get like 30 people who can cast Ice Bolt.
That's what I was looking at. I was like, oh shit, I have nothing that could help with that in my cantrip.
I might be able to seal it back over with a cone of cold, but I'd rather save that for a rainy hour.
Yeah. Could check to see if there are any. I mean, Ice Bolt is not or Frost Bolt, whichever it is. I can't remember off the top of my head. Is a cantrip. There might be spellcasters we here within the city who can cast it. Same with Shape Water.
I got Chill Touch. Can I Chill Touch the...
Chill Touch?
Is that what it is? I know that's not what it is.
Necrotic damage?
I know that's not what it is. Yes, it does necrotic
Just
damage.
fish float to the top of the river.
Keep killing fish till they block the path.
Ganowin,
Starts healing undead.
Yes, sir.
over this time, I want you to go ahead and give me just 5 attack rolls over this time. I want to see how successful you've been.
Okay, so just 5 attack rolls.
Yep.
Okay, let me double check because the bows. Yeah, this is the good bow. The good bow. Ooh, 15. Or I'm sorry, 14, 23, and 21.
I need 5 from you. That was 3.
Oh, 5. Sorry. Good gracious. Yeah, so 14, 23, 21, 16, and dirty 30.
Very nice. Okay.
Gotta put the dirty 30s in the chat.
Dirty 30.
This campaign's gonna get at high a level where I'm gonna have to make a dirty 30 emote. Or maybe it won't. Who knows? Fairly successful in your trials. You're not getting all of them because as the time persists through this, you're starting to see more of them. And with those attack rolls, you see some start to like climb on top of each other at this point. Some getting over the walls as you start to see just veterans like start beating the shit out of it as it gets to the top of the wall, but not before it takes 2 or 3 and just tosses them back over to the wall into the undead, who just surround and eviscerate some, but eventually fighting them back. With your instructions, these archers are taking out some of the bigger threats. The one of the frost giants ends up getting cover over the cowl of the gate, and you start to hear wood and stone and metal grinding, creaking, and breaking. This wall's not going to hold for very much longer. What are you doing?
Oh shit. Okay, and I just want to clarify. So I'm looking at the map of Atur.
Mm-hmm.
We are on the east side, near Sevalod Row.
Correct. Yep.
Where exactly is that gate? I'm trying to see how far it is from that second ring.
Yeah, sure. So
The
you guys
inner
have
city
actually
inner
been
walls.
pushed back quite a bit from that second ring. That second ring is a very old wall. That is,
Gotcha.
by all intents and purposes, not defensible. They have
Gotcha.
fallen back past that point. You are more at that gate near the river, near the Yeva Bazaar. That second wall right there, sort of on the northeastern side of the city.
Okay, we are at that inner city, the inner wall already.
Correct. Yes.
Oh shit. Okay. That's bad.
Yeah, I remember describing it a couple of episodes ago, but I'll describe it again. That outer wall is the old wall of Atur, and when all the money started coming in from Merchants Valley and everywhere else, and Gandalf would know this, like that second wall, a much more defensible line, was built around the people that had the money.
Right.
And Sevalod Row, Beggar's Row was left out of that. So it's not much of a wall anymore. It's like a 5 or 6 foot tall crumbling stone fence.
Okay. I think we're so we have the veterans are here.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And do we have on the kind of southwest side of this same inner wall is where Boris's troops were?
Correct.
Where are the for all intents and purposes, where were the conscripts were posted somewhere closer into the city?
In the city, around like buildings and taverns, mostly centered around where the people were that could not fight were, which were the temple, the Crimson Monastery, as well as the Parliament building.
Okay.
That is where a lot of people are being kept up right now, and that is where a lot of the citizen army is currently at, as a last line of defense.
Gotcha. And this gate, and I'm sorry, I know this is further clarification. This gate is the one that is to the north or to the south of the river?
To the north of the river currently.
Fudge muffins. Okay. Okay. Oh boy. That's bad. That's super not good.
Still gonna try to take this time to get a short rest in, just kind of plop down in the snow.
Yeah, you can try.
pray I can sit there for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Did I see? Was it clear who Sirhij left kind of in charge of the wall here?
Yeah, I'll say you saw a guy who just sort of pointed, no rank call out or anything like that, but you
Just,
see it.
You're in charge.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna go to this guy. I'm just gonna ask him. Is there already a plan in place for falling back from this position?
Not much discussion was happening about it. We were just going to fall further back into the city. I think the ultimate place that we thought would be last stand would be Nighthold. Third walls, the tallest in the city. That's all we have left. I know the rest of us were going to try to split and maybe go to the Crimson Monastery or possibly the Parliament building to help out defend those locations, but we did not. Sort of trails off for a moment. Those were folks that were not expected to be returning.
The Crimson Monastery is one of their goals. Taking it specifically. It cannot fall. I see the Temple District is directly to the north of Nighthold.
Why do they need the monastery? Or the crypts?
Yes.
Gods above.
Yes. That gate isn't going to hold very much longer. It's probably best if we go ahead and start retreating to the monastery. Get in position there. And start the hold.
I get to the monastery first and raise the dead in our favor, they can't raise the dead in their favor.
Everyone, group up, head out. All to the Crimson Monastery. Nowhere else.
Good. Leave Defense of the Night hold to those on that southwest side. If we can get further reinforcements to the monastery, we will. But for now, that will be their responsibility and this ours.
See people grabbing up all the resources that they can carry. Some scooping up wounded that they can carry. Others, they're trying their best to get everyone, but maybe not.
If there's anybody that... I can only heal 6 people. Okay. Gotta do what you gotta do. I'm going to get on top of a building that has a direct line of sight on the gate. And assuming that is where the majority of the zombies are going to be coming through, I'm just going to sit up there, and if anything starts coming up the walls, I'm going to shoot at what I can. And I'm going to wait until the gate breaks, and when they start trying to come through, I'm going to cast Entangle to slow down their stampede through the gate.
Okay. That gate is not holding for very long at all. The wounded start getting picked up when it breaks, and everybody starts moving out quicker, or as quickly as they can. You go to aim down, but as soon as you do, you hear the metals just bend and snap. There's no time to shoot any that are coming through. If you're casting Entangle, it is time to do it now.
I'm doing it just right in the gate. Just try to grab the feet of some of the ones that are right there, but mostly I want that difficult terrain. I want it to slow them down.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna give them. What's the save? Dexterity.
There's a strength saving throw, DC 15.
DC 15. Okay. 1 dice. We're gonna see how this goes for right now.
No.
That is not gonna. What'd you say, Kaushik?
He said DC 50, 50.
DC, 50.
I
gotcha.
wish.
Yeah.
This is not stopping.
They all have legendary resistance.
Yeah, I'm under no illusion that this will fully stop them. I'm trying to slow them down as much as possible to give them time to stay in front of the
perhaps for 30 minutes.
Okay, so DC 15. I'll say this, Ganwin. Lives
Yes,
of
sir.
your comrades are in your hands right now. They succeed on this. Your backline and your wounded are part of the horde now.
Don't tell us what you rolled. Just end it here.
No, and we're not ending it here. Sorry guys, we're gonna go a little bit later tonight, not too much later. Using the base undead stat block, I rolled an 11. You do not have a bonus to strength. You slow them enough as they still trying to fight against it. However, the giant that is on the other side, stepping on a lot of them, not caring, just sort of stepping on a lot of the basic undead that would have caught your undead. You see the guy that you were speaking to snatch up a guy who had tripped and fallen just on a wounded leg, grabbing him out, and sort of fireman carrying him, starts running through the river. It's time to get the fuck out of here, or you're gonna be toast.
Okay, I'm gonna maintain my concentration on that entangle for its full duration. I'm gonna stay on the roofs, and I'm gonna keep pace with the back, like with the last of our people.
Okay.
The last of the veterans, and I'm just gonna try to, if any undead that start to catch up to them, I'm gonna try to pick them off.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure I can move fast enough just with Shadow Step to be able to have my my action free to shoot.
Easily enough. Stepping across, using that bonus action, staying on the roofs. You don't see any undead at first, but you do start to see some slain on the ground. along with some dead citizens as well. But it looks like Sirhish and his men have fought a path through next to the river. This outfit of soldiers start forcing their way into the city, making their way to the Crimson Monastery, where it is a bit more quiet, and you don't see any more remains in the streets or anything like that. It doesn't seem like the undead fought
No
their
citizens that are left around here that we've seen on this path.
Yeah, no. Once you get far enough into the city, it doesn't look like the undead have fought their way this far into the city yet.
Right.
But the area of the city, you can kind of get this mental image since you're making your way through the area of the city that is safe for citizens is shrinking and getting smaller.
Gotcha.
Towards that, past those inner walls now.
Gotcha. And also, as soon as I started kind of jumping back here, I would communicate through the mental link. I don't know how much of that we've got left, but east side gates has fallen. I'm falling back with the remains of the veterans to the Crimson Monastery to hold it there.
Okay. This is sort of when you hear this is sort of at the end of your guys' exchange after Kaushik's taken out the river. You've made an ice path for these people, Artyom, to start crossing it up towards Nighthold. That is sort of the direction of the Crimson Monastery. What are the rest of you doing? Where are y'all going?
You're muted, Camp.
Headed to the monastery, I guess.
Ian was north of the river, right?
Yes, we were on that gate. If you're looking at the map, like that little gate that's north of the river,
Okay.
Right there.
So
Back
there
up towards
is
the temple district. Yeah,
there is nothing barring the undead from being
Correct.
inside the city.
yeah.
Property.
That's
Okay.
why I was hoping we were on the south side of the river.
Yes, all right.
If we could hold the bridges.
All right. Well, we need to get to the Nighthold and get them to open the doors. We'll save less from more will survive that don't get trampled at this point.
Okay.
Hopefully the young and elderly have got enough of a lead.
While we make our way in that direction, Milo will direct the drone up to try and figure out where the biggest concentrations, from a top-down map perspective, where the biggest concentrations of undead seem to be.
Okay. Sending you a drone out for that information. It's going to take some time to calculate that, figure it out.
Yeah, for sure.
And fly back to you.
Better for it to be accurate and take a little bit longer than another half-assed recon.
Right. Okay. Unless anybody has anything else to do, I'm going to go into a little bit of a cinematic scene right here. But go ahead.
I was just going to say, Milo, you also need to look at this key.
Right.
And yeah.
Azur was just going to say one thing to Kaushik. That was quite impressive what you did with the bridge on the zombies. I can tell you put a bit of hatred for Yidro in it, huh?
I put a bit of hatred for Yidril in everything that I do.
I see.
But you can thank Milo for that. His idea, draw him away, take him down. It works in theory, Milo. Hopefully we can do it again.
Where is your boyfriend?
Oh yeah, where's that vampire?
He's not my boyfriend. I don't know where he is. I don't have the energy to waste to contact him, to be honest with you guys.
He didn't show up when I needed him. Drop him.
Men. I say to a group of men.
Agreed.
Right. The group moving towards Nighthold, going up the hill, giving you a sort of a vantage on the city. Crimson Monastery sort of in the distance for you all, and on the rooftops making your way, shadow stepping into existence. For some of you, it's a blink of the eyes. For other of you, a blink of your physical self as you go into one shadow and out the other. But in an instant, what was not there before is now there, hovering above the Crimson Monastery. 3 black towers floating in the air above, directly above the Crimson Monastery. A black swirling vortex at the bottom of it, sort of like an elemental ring that is on an airship, but instead horizontal and floating around the base of it. As it sits there silently, you get this image. Heavy footsteps meet our main group's ears. Armor on stone, walking towards you, rounding the corner. Massive, pale gray skinned with a small, smooth, bald head, rounding the corner. At her sides, 10 soldiers in full bone armor, twisting, skulls imprinted over their faces, hoods drawn up at their side, and in front of her, sort of clearing out as they're walking down the street towards you, leading them, hands behind his, one hand behind his back, the other on a twisted, scorched bone staff. Eberron himself, tall, white-haired elf, walking immediately towards where you guys are going towards. They walk up towards you. Sir Hij turns and looks at the group of you. Quietly sort of says, "Your friend offered healing earlier. Maybe someone can help me out before this?" He says it, Crowley. Currently still, he turns his head and looks towards you. Says this, Crowley. As he does, is when you notice Sir Hij's head separate from his shoulders and tossed about 15 feet to your right, blood across your mask. As Major Boris Yavorsic with his halberd cut through, flings the blood off of his blade. "Commander Eberron, your arrival has been expected." And that's where we're going to end tonight's session. So,
Fucking knew it. Fucking knew it. I knew it.
thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for playing with me, as always. We are
Fuck you.
Hard Knock Dice. We stream every Saturday and Wednesday now. Saturdays we do across Eberron. We meet at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on Wednesdays, now we're going to be starting up our brand new campaign, DM'd by our very own Milo. Is going to be DMing a campaign, Blood and Silver. It's going to be a Revolution Rebellion style campaign. So make sure you tune in for that for the premiere episode on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we are going to raid some friends, but while we do, !charity in the chat. Make sure you donate to Extra Life. Be a hero. Save some kids like these guys have tonight. Be a real hero to someone. Yeah, I didn't have the right page pulled up. Apparently I exited out earlier for our wild magic surge. But that's okay. As I get to it, I will continue to ramble and you'll be happy about it. Woo! Damn it. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We are gonna raid our friends over at
All right.
let's do Hope. For TTRPGs, we're gonna start our raid there. We haven't raided them in a while. So thank you,
7
everybody.
new characters.
And oh wait, we're still waiting. Did I say everything? Make sure you follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're affiliates again, so do all of that if you want to see these guys live. Maybe? Question mark. We'll see you next time.
Nope. I'm not there, so.
Bye, guys. Much love.
Bye. Facebook. Follow us on Facebook.
Send help.
Instagram.
Bruh, what the fuck? Fuck you, Joel.